Hi, I'm Ben,
And I'm Sarah.
and you should listen to
What's new?
Nancy Drew.
Come get a clue.
Boop, boop, doo.
What's New, Nancy Drew is a weekly podcast where we recap the latest episode of the CW show Nancy Drew.
Yeah, so put your sleuthing brain on and join us for a good time.
So we're going to try to time our cold open to the end of the... Why don't you just add the... It's not hard to add the theme song onto the recording.
I usually do anyway.
No post
So
work.
what is the point? Why don't we just record what we're saying right now, cut the theme song out entirely, and then once we say a couple
You're
of
missing the
interesting
point,
things-
Harris.
Oh, I feel like I got the point. The point is that you're trying to see exactly how lazy you can be.
I don't want to cut anything.
No post production.
What would Crocodile Dundee do?
Nice natural segue.
I don't know. I watched 20 minutes of the movie and I don't understand his character.
What do you mean? He's from Australia.
That's his kid.
He's a fish out of
He's
water.
a bushman.
What was
He's
the
a bushman out of the
There
bush.
are Bushmen and then there are Mick Dundee.
I get
The Aborigines call him like Jabba Jabba Wubba Ba or something like that, which means the crocodile who walks like a man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's his philosophy, no rules, just right.
That's right.
I feel like Harris will know this. What was the clothing when the like Australian fad was happening in America in the late 80s? What was the like clothing company? There was like an Australian.
Oh, fuck, yeah. What was that called? Oh, my God. I can, like, picture the logo in my head, but I can't.
Are you talking about like Ocean Pacific with like the gecko and stuff?
It was like
Maybe.
Ocean
No,
Pacific,
that's
but
like-
for Australia.
That's
Ocean
not
Pacific is
Australia.
What was their logo? Was it like a little koala?
It was an OP. Ocean Pacific was just a big O and a
No,
little...
what was
the Australian
Oh.
company.
I don't remember. No, I
Fuck.
don't remember.
We're gonna keep
Koala.
talking about this, and no one's
a
gonna
boomerang,
remember.
probably, right?
Boomerang?
Or a kiwi, or a kangaroo, or
Or the
well,
Sydney
probably
Opera
not kiwi
House.
because that's New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
An
close.
emu.
A kangaroo.
I would pick kangaroo over
Kangle?
emu.
Those hats. I have
Kangles
one.
are hats.
Yeah, I have one. I'm not gonna lie.
You seem like the type of guy who's got a kangle.
It's really cool.
He only
Colleen
wears
hates
it to the casino.
He only
There
wears
was like
it to
a
the
period of
Sam
like
Jackson convention.
there was a period of like 8 years where like LL Cool J didn't go outside of his home without a kangle, wasn't there?
Yeah, he used to keep one on his head and one in his back pocket in case the one fell off his head.
Yeah.
That's called branding, baby.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear the Kangle anymore?
He almost changed his name to LL Kangle.
I don't think they let him wear it on what NCIS whatever he's on.
Wait, are you talking about LL Cool J or Samuel L. Jackson?
LL Cool J.
Could be both.
But doesn't Samuel L. Jackson wear Kangle?
They both wear kangles.
I think
Whoa.
so. Yeah.
See, when I think LL Cool J, I don't think Kangle. I think like lip licking.
Yes. Well, no, everyone does.
Lip
Or I think bucket hats, which is
Yeah.
kind of the pre-Kangle LL Cool J.
That's his like Mama said
gonna
knock you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. God, Harris, we're so fucking on it right now with LL Cool
Yeah.
J.
Yeah, we know everything but that Australian clothing company from the 80s.
Fuck, am I gonna have to look
You know
it
who
up?
I miss
I'm
from the
looking it up.
80s?
God
You know whose career didn't really get its just desserts? A little known, brilliant performer named Yahoo Serious.
What?
We don't.
Is he
you're
related to
kidding?
Yakov
Are you-
Smirnoff?
Are you too young for Yahoo Serious?
I don't know who that is.
Are you out of your mind? The funny one of the funniest Simpsons jokes is it's like they're making a reference to the 80s Australian fad that happened for like a brief period of time.
Oh, are you talking about Coogie?
Is it Coogie, Matt?
The sweaters, like the Notorious B.I.G. sweater?
I don't think so. I think there was like one that was literally selling like bush hats and shit.
Oh, okay.
There's a funny gag from The Simpsons where Lisa sees a marquee from that period of time in the 80s, and it says Yahoo Serious Film Festival. And she's like, I know all those words, but that billboard doesn't make any sense. Anyways, the man's name was Yahoo Serious. He was in a movie called Young Einstein. Look it up.
Young Einstein. Who was the star?
Yahoo fucking
Oh, I'm
Serious.
sorry. He was
Right.
He was the vehicle for.
Yes, they were trying to make Yahoo Serious happen. He was like an Australian Pauly Shore.
Wow, that's a distinction.
maybe it's not Billabong, but
Are
that
you
is
sure
an
it's not?
Australian.
That is an Australian company that was
Yeah.
very popular in the 80s.
Yahoo Serious is Young Einstein.
It was like I'm
Wow.
just like looking it up here. It was stuff that looked like that, like with the triangle, like
Yep.
really like 80s
Yes.
stuff. You know,
Yes, it was very popular.
I don't
Wait,
know. It's
Did
not
we
showing
find out
up
what
here.
the name of it was?
Nope. I'm still looking.
You know, the most important Australian fashion staple is, of course, not having a shirt on. So
Yes.
it's kind of like a difficult market for a clothing company to hit.
But like You also have to have a necklace made out of some sort of predator's teeth.
Yes.
Yeah, of
No, that's important, obviously. That goes without saying. That is your only chest covering. And also, you don't have to be like really cut or anything. Like, it's actually better if you kind of got.
Is it Gecko?
Could be.
Gecko brand?
That seems like California.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
If you got kind of a paunch and some boobs, that kind of works for like the Australian shirtlessness also.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't a specific
is a
company. Maybe
Hawaiian
it was just
brand.
like a look.
What was the name of the?
You're thinking of that insurance?
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
Geico.
What was the name of the guy from the bad guy from Commando? That's what I think of when I think of Australian fashion,
Like the chainmail.
fake chainmail shirts. And,
What was
that,
Oh, let off some steam, Bennett.
Bennett, yeah.
That was his name.
There was a famous golfer from the 90s who was Australian.
Greg Norman, the shark.
Yeah, the shark. Yeah.
famous
Shock.
choker.
Yeah.
One of the most epic and uncomfortable to watch collapses in all of sporting events was him choking away like a 5-stroke lead on the last holes of the Masters.
But he had great clothes because he had that shark logo. Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. And he always wore that hat. It wasn't like the full-on Australian hat, but he always had
Yeah.
that like kind of
Yeah.
very bushy.
So this
type
is
of
all
bush
about
hat.
Gremlins, I guess.
Which leads us naturally to Gremlins.
Chris Columbus was a struggling NYU student living in a New York City loft, which he describes as a nice place during the day, but at night, all he could hear was the scurrying around of little varmints. And he sort of used this as fuel to write a screenplay called Gremlins. That was about a nice town that's beautiful during the day and then gets overrun by monsters at night. He wrote it basically as a sample. He never thought anybody would make it because it was a fairly high budget and it was a weird kind of horror comedy tone that just didn't seem like it would be popular. But the 80s was a weird time, and horror comedy was having a real moment in 1983, 1984, when Steven Spielberg read the script and said, yes, let's do it. Spielberg didn't want to direct it himself, so he enlisted Joe Dante, who was famous for doing a couple other horror comedy movies at that point, Piranha and The Howling. Dante was working with Spielberg on the Twilight Zone movie, and so they got along really well. Dante hadn't set up his next project, so they decided this is the one to do. They were a great team, because Columbus, Dante, and Spielberg, because Spielberg had a real notion for how to make this a little more marketable. He insisted that originally Gizmo turned into Spike, and so the main Mogwai became a gremlin. Spielberg was like, no, we need to cheer for this fucking Mogwai the whole movie. But then there was other things that Dante was very protective of, about sort of the off-kilter, really dark edges that he refused to let get sanded off. Like, everyone apparently wanted to cut the Santa Claus monologue that Phoebe Cates delivers, and Dante was the lone voice of reason that was like, no, it must be in the movie. So you cast this thing with a bunch of kind of unknown young actors and very well-known older actors, none of whom were stars. And the real star of the show was obviously the creatures, which were done by Chris, what is his name? Chris Walla? It's Chris something. He was the guy who did E.T. And so fairly well-known guy, and they were created through a combination of animatronics, puppetry, and a very little bit of stop motion. And that basically turned this thing into a juggernaut. Everyone loved it. Everyone loved the gore. Everyone loved the humor. And especially everyone loved the fucking Mogwai. Gizmo was a huge star. Everyone had the dolls, and they were all over the place. And so this movie that went over budget to a whopping $11 million ended up making more than $200 million overall, and became the 4th biggest hit of the year after Beverly Hills Cop, Ghostbusters, and Temple of Doom. So this was a massive hit and hugely profitable. And that is the story of the movie that we're going to talk about now, which is called
Crocodile
Gremlins.
Dundee.
Crocodile Dundee Part 2.
That's not a
That was
Mogwai.
just another pointless sequel that didn't have to be made.
I think one of the big things you forgot to mention was that this movie, I think almost single-handedly, it was like this movie and one other, that contributed to the creation of the PG-13 rating.
Yep, it was. What was the other one?
Red Dawn, I
It
think.
was this. Well, I think also Temple of Doom. They were
Well,
having the
Temple of
same-
Doom was the first one to have it applied to it.
They were having the same problem. Well, it came out the same year, so clearly it was in the same. So that was, and it was Spielberg's suggestion because apparently the MPAA was furious that this movie ended up being a PG-rated movie because they had so many objections to it, and Spielberg was like, "Well, why don't you find a middle ground, man?"
Everything I watch now, I watch sort of through the eyes of like, can I show this to my 5-year-old? And this, I would definitely not show this movie to her.
But Army of Darkness,
Yes.
totally.
Yeah, didn't you say you did show her Army of Darkness?
I mean, I think Army of Darkness is perfectly appropriate for a 5-year-old. It's funny and goofy and stupid. This one is fucking terrifying. I probably watched it when I was probably older. I was probably like 8. And
Yeah, there's definitely scenes that like were
oh
terrifying.
no, we can do the math on this. I was 6, and it fucking terrified me. This movie was haunting.
Rockin' Ricky Rialto stole his logo from Indiana Jones.
Well, there's like a certain movie, like, Statute of Limitations have passed, but like my parents had the 2 VCRs, so we used to copy all the movies that we rented. And, Gremlins was like a staple. So he's like, and the other ones you mentioned from the same year, pretty much. So it was just one of the tapes that from birth, dude. I mean, and if I ever have kids, they're going to watch this in the delivery room on the first night in the hospital.
And I mean, this was also the dawn of the VHS tape kind of era. So it's a lot of movies from this time period, including this one, ended up just being huge, like in everyone's home.
I was too young to see this in the theater. This movie came out the year I was born. And but when I was like in the early 90s, I had to be like 7, 8 years old. Like this movie was on regular rotation in my house. Like we watched it all the time. This and the second movie.
It's a delight for children. This is I mean, it's got all like it is the perfect kind of when you're too young, it's way too scary, but you still kind of like that. And then but it's got all the goofy shit that kids like too. It really is appealing to a broad audience of kids who want to be terrified
I feel
by
like
a
the
movie.
perspective, like it's like what, third person perspective or whatever, but I feel like the third person is like a younger person. You know what I mean? Like you look at it through like young eyes when you watch it.
Are you implying that most movies are first person perspective?
They will
Like
be.
Doom?
In his defense, Colin has only ever seen Enter the Void and like a couple others, like just really specific.
Just
movies.
that one part of
The
Doom.
first- yeah, exactly.
Strange Days. Love
Yeah.
those.
There's so much to talk about this movie. There's so many things that rule.
This font is really nice.
I love the credits. I love the look of them, the yellow and red, the
Yep.
font. Yeah, it's just great.
And I like all this. I like that you can tell that it's almost entirely shot on a backlot. Like
Yeah.
every single bit of this is on the Warner Brothers backlot, and all the snow is fake, but it looks so good. It's like even Chinatown was definitely Chinatown was the first thing you're like, oh my god, what a backlotty dark alley.
Where are they supposed to be? Like New York?
I think it's supposed to be like upstate New York or
Or-
Pennsylvania or something like that.
The town has a name though. They like
Yeah, it's
called something.
Yeah, it's probably
Kingston-
like, not real.
Kingston Falls.
Kingston Falls. That's it. Yeah,
Probably not a real town.
Kingston
It's not
Falls.
real.
Kingston Falls sounds like an upstate New York.
Or Rhode Island. Like
But, yeah.
it sounds Rhode Islandy to me, but nothing.
But there's
set
a
in
lot of
Rhode
New
Island.
York accents in this, which is who
Yeah,
the hell
nothing
knows if
says
that's
New England
intentional.
about this to me.
It definitely feels more like not New England.
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah, I could see that.
We can't hear it, but I love the music in this movie, like all the themes. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
overly kind of schmaltzy in a lot of places, but it's so
but
memorable.
tasteful. Like they picked good schmaltzy shit to play.
Like when it's about to cut to Phoebe Cates for the first time, and like her theme comes on. It's like the love theme, you know. It's
Yeah,
like they used to do that in movies.
Who is it? Jerry Goldsmith who did this?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Excellent. And the Gremlins theme itself is like iconic. But like the
The
main
choices for the other songs is pretty good. Like when the Gremlins needle drop that do you hear what I
Oh,
hear?
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just like the actual score of this, the score is great. The score for the movie is great, but then the Gremlins theme, I mean, you could everyone can sing that. It's so good.
You could play that at a fucking Celtics game.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crowd
yeah.
of hype.
Yep.
It's funny you're talking about the movie being scary because it does have like that terror when the Gremlins are really wreaking havoc. But like when you're an adult and you watch it, it's like the scary thing is like this woman is threatening to like butcher the dog. And like no one's really reacting. Like it's fucking weird.
I'm scared of how incompetent the father is.
Oh my god.
Oh, we gotta get into
invention's
this. dude.
terrifying.
We gotta get into this because
Before we do that, let's introduce our guest. Joining us once again for the second time.
third.
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon and Conan, I think.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, Lethal Weapon 4 to be exact.
I think all those movies came out in 1984, right? Wait, which Conan was it? The first.
The first Conan. I would not appear for the others.
That's Tim Kozlenko.
How's it going?
Hey.
Going good.
Also creator of our new theme song.
Oh yeah, thank you.
That we just heard. Yeah.
I'm glad that we all have our own mics because Colin said we were all going to be standing around.
Yeah, like
doo-wop style?
like a doo-wop.
yeah. That's exactly how he described it.
Yeah, one of those microphones that looks like a rectangle with like little slits in it.
All right. Since this movie opens with the dad, let's talk about him first. I think the dad is the weakest part of this movie.
Yeah.
Like actor wise or just character? Like
Just character. I think the actor's fine.
Well, he's not an actor. He's a musician. Well, he is an actor, obviously. He was acting.
He's a
and stuff.
musician. Who is he?
But he's a
Meatloaf?
music. He's what's his name? Axton.
Hoyt Axton.
Hoyt
Axl Rose.
That's his dad.
No, he was a folk singer. His mom actually wrote Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh.
He wrote like Three Dog Night's two biggest hits, Joy to the World and
No shit.
Never Been to Spain. Like two of their biggest hits,
Wow.
just when he was opening for them, he was like, "Oh, here's some solid fucking gold."
Yeah.
I could picture him like on a stool with a fucking cigarette in his mouth, strumming a guitar.
Well, he's got a good voice, and when you hear that voiceover, which is like a totally like 1940s hard-boiled detective story voiceover,
Totally.
I was in Chinatown
Trying to
looking for
move some product.
trying to move some product, and maybe find a Christmas gift for my kid.
I
But,
do
like-
I do like the first scene where he's in Chinatown and it's like he's led down into this like dumpy store that's like below something else, and it's like this kooky Chinese man who's like selling trinkets or whatever. I just wish they did that. Like I feel like if Spielberg directed this, that scene would have been way creepier, you know, and more like eerie. Maybe he like steals the mogwai instead of purchasing it from the kid. It's a little goofy, but like the idea of it is cool. That this is the origin of like where these things come from. Is that, like,
But is this man like an anchor on his family? Like
No,
with
okay.
his inventing career.
You mean
This is
keeping
what I
them
want-
stable or dragging them to the bottom of the
dragging
ocean?
them to the bottom? Of
This is what I wanted to talk about. This is the era because his mom, Mrs. Pelter, is by all appearances like a stay-at-home, like a homemaker, and this guy is, by all appearances, an incompetent inventor.
Yes.
But they still have a nice house in the suburbs that would be worth like $400K today.
Yeah, no, yeah. If they were millennials, they couldn't afford this. Yeah, and I want to talk about the mom too because she is clearly depressed, and she has a lot of she has a lot of unsatisfying elements of her. Like she is like when she's staring off into space making the food, and he's like, "Mom, what's wrong?" And she's like, "Oh no, sad movie or whatever." She's really thinking, "How did I get here? What in my life has led me to this? I've got a husband who's always on the road traveling to sell this stupid shit that he makes us use. It doesn't work." And
everything
she's like,
squirts goo. I've been squirting goo at me like so many times today.
squirted with goo. The only thing it doesn't do is answer the fucking phone.
She's kind of into. She's like, "Oh, it works so good the first couple times."
Yeah. She's like trying to tell herself it's okay. I didn't bet on a loser here. He's gonna turn things around. And meanwhile, she's just like, and then Phoebe Cates is saying, "Hey, some people are opening their presents. Some other people are thinking about opening their wrists." And I'm thinking, yes, Billy's mom is in the latter camp where she's just like, what is the point of any of this?
Hey, every failure is a learning opportunity.
But how did they buy the house?
One day he's gonna invent the fucking Mac.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel
the
like
Peltzer
he must have had one hit somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
It was like
he bought the house.
like
to
jarts.
buy it, yeah.
He invented lawn
Well,
darts.
the smokeless ashtray at the end. The Chinese
Yeah.
man is interested in it.
No, he like invented lawn darts or something.
Lawn
made
darts.
made a small fortune, and then he's been trying to like recapture that high ever since. It's not going well.
I also love that this bar they go to is like really beloved in this town, and it kind of does look like it's not that nice.
No, it's
Really?
totally, it is 100%. It is 100% a dive. But as an adult, the best line in this movie is
Everyone proposes to their wife.
Yeah. My dad proposed to my mom in that bar. Everyone's dad proposes to their mom there.
Oh my god!
Well, this is like
talk about
And
suicide.
it tells you so much. But it is seriously, it tells you so much about this town that everyone just proposes to their spouse in this fucking shithole dive bar, and then they move in and they live there forever.
It's
But
so
this is
dark.
like
There's
what
like
a-
shit on the floor.
You would do karaoke there on Tuesday
Of
nights.
course I would.
And trivia on Thursday.
This is what a nice bar
It's like I
used to
wouldn't
look like.
this bar.
This is before bars also served food, I think. This is like the pinnacle of
Oh,
bars.
this bar probably serves food.
This bar
You
for
just
sure serves
probably-
peanuts.
This is like
Definitely
Crawford's in
peanuts.
Silver Lake or whatever.
Yeah, this is like, well, there's not that many bars like this in LA just because there's not a lot of great dive bars in LA, but yeah.
Bro, the guy can't even fucking mount swords on his wall.
But
I don't know.
but-
if
Why
it's
do they
supposed to
have that?
You know why they have that? To cut a fucking gremlin's head off later,
Yeah.
Colin. And you know why it falls off the wall? So we go, oh, hey, there's swords in that wall.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. Oh, they're planting something.
Yeah, a little thing called plant and payoff. Colin likes payoff than plant.
Yeah.
But back to the mom for a second. For all we've said about her, she has one of the best scenes in the movie.
be. Oh, absolutely.
It's the highlight of the film is the mom fighting the gremlins. That whole
love it.
sequence from beginning to end is the greatest part of this movie. I don't know if I ever appreciated it before, but it is fucking amazing. It's also this movie's
awesome.
not a this movie's kind of a slow starter. It takes like 45 minutes to get to actual gremlins,
Which is great.
yeah, no, it's fine. It works fine. But that is the scene that gets us to the fucking gremlins. That's the one
Yeah.
that's like, hey, by the way, everything's going wild now. Hold on to your butts.
This movie has one of the best like fun and games section, like the second act where like
Yes.
shit is just going off than any other movie I could think of. It's
Hard
like,
agree.
I'm kind of watching this. I haven't seen it in a really long time, and
Look
yes,
how many fucking onions she's chopping.
I was about to.
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah,
to say that this whole
She's
time.
not making anything with
There's
that.
like four
She's-
onions out there
She's
just
chopping
chopped,
like
and
a
there's
1,000
more.
onions.
but also
That's
it's
French onion soup.
This is
She's
a
gotta
joke.
be.
He's asking what's wrong. She's cutting onions. That's why she's crying. But she's like, I don't know.
no,
It's a sad movie.
why is she cutting a billion onions? She's not cooking for a billion people. She's miserable and she doesn't know what else to do with her life.
There's
She-
literally no other ingredients
I don't
besides
think that's a
tomatoes
joke. I think
visible.
that's a coincidence.
yeah. I think that's just this is her sad life. Sorry, Matt. Yeah, the fun and games. Yes,
Yeah.
amazing fun and games.
It's just great. I mean, we'll talk about it when we get there. But all right, so we're still on the setup of this movie. So yeah, the dad, he's a terrible inventor. Everything squirts goo, like green goo.
the egg cracker machine.
The egg cracker machine.
How is that
doesn't
even
work.
supposed to
Like
work?
the bathroom buddy, like is more cumbersome than just packing all the bathroom shit. In
Yeah,
the fucking
It's like
bag.
the size of a dop kit. You might as well just have that stuff.
I thought it would have been better if all his inventions don't work, but then in the end they use the inventions to kill the gremlins. Like there's some
Yeah,
useful thing that they have. You know,
There wasn't really for like this subplot of dad having crazy inventions. They never actually. It doesn't really come to fruition that much. Oh, but I realized. I think they imply what paid for the house, because he said the guys who distribute the kitchen companion are thinking of also buying the bathroom buddy. So maybe the kitchen companion was a hit, whatever that is, because we never see
we
it.
never see it.
See
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So like maybe he made a mint on the kitchen companion.
Got like a cool.
He's a good
80
dad, though. It's hard to hate him, even though he's incompetent and he's dragged his poor wife down to this miserable existence that she
He
has.
brings a feral, undocumented species into the home,
Well, look how excited
and then
he
he's
is.
talking about making money off it when it.
But he's so excited.
when he
he's
clones
like, I nailed
itself.
this gift, and everyone loves it. Everyone loves Gizmo.
Yeah, all right. So let's talk about the gizmo and the rules that he's been given about this creature. I love this box that it comes in. It reminds me kind of Hellraiser for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, so the rules are it hates light, sunlight will kill it, and it doesn't like bright light.
Keep it away from water.
Keep it away from water, which makes you wonder how it stays hydrated.
Yes.
So, okay. And the
or
most
gets cleaned.
And the most important and confounding rule, never feed it after midnight, which, even as a child, I understood that it's always after midnight. It is always perpetually after midnight. There's no rule about when you can start feeding it. There's only don't feed it after this point, which means just don't ever feed that fucker.
Yeah, because time zones, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So does this movie will shows you in a way almost like if you play the right tone and your story and filmmaking is good enough.
Oh, yeah.
That like logic. You can sort of put it by the wayside, like because like you're saying, it makes no fucking sense. They acknowledge it in the second one.
Yes, they do.
With
They
like
I remember that.
satirical meta humor of
Yep.
it making no sense. The chicken they're eating is wet as fuck. Like, they've clearly like touched moisture.
Yeah.
I feel like just having a like a big plate completely full of fried chicken just in the fridge is like
Uncovered.
a very like 80s thing.
It's
So
wet,
There's
dude.
no,
I don't know if
no
it's fried.
saran wrap.
and I kind of feel like I sort of am envious that like I can't just have a big plate of fried
Like,
chicken.
so does that mean
dry fried chicken?
I'm
for
envious
me,
of
but-
so much shit in this, from the era, like the 80s. Like, give me a quaint town. Everything's owned by the store owners, and there's a Burger King right in the fucking
Everyone's
middle.
owned by a psychotic old lady.
Oh, the psychotic old lady
Right,
runs
she's just
that
the
town.
slumlord down there.
Yeah. But so like the mom, she's making like big dinner for the family, and she's like, "Oh, I'm also gonna do like 2 or 3 whole fried chickens," and then she's like, "Oh, I forgot to serve the fried chicken. I'll just put it on a plate
Yeah.
and keep it in the fridge
And
for
then she's
tomorrow."
like, "Oh, I forgot. I only have 2 people that I live with: my son and my husband, who's never home. Why do I make all this food? Oh, I remember, because I have nothing else to do.
My life is meaningless.
My life is meaningless."
Tim, you mentioned that there's a Burger King in the like town square, and I noticed that too. And I actually read, I don't know if you guys read this in the trivia. It said that there was a scene that they cut, or I don't know if they filmed it, but it was like planned.
Where Gizmo orders a Whopper.
Where no, they were gonna people go in, they go into on the trivia it says McDonald's, but they clearly meant Burger King because there's no McDonald's in this movie. It says they go into the restaurant and the Gremlins are in there eating people instead of burgers. Like they have them on buns and it's like dead people, and they cut that scene because obviously it's too fucked up for this movie.
I did read that, yeah. And also the mom was supposed to get killed, and when Billy got home, they were going to throw her head down the stairs.
Yes.
Which I'm sure Spielberg was like, "Hey,
That is like a
maybe-
level of violence that would, bring this movie into a totally different tone.
Plus, there's a whole thing about when you end this movie, it's like, hey, everything's back to normal and nothing bad happened, except like, because all the people who died were like minor characters. If you kill off his mom, then there are repercussions.
They fucking retcon the guy who gets run over by the bulldozer because he's just back in the second one.
Oh, yeah, you're
I
right.
can't think of his name. The Vietnam racist
Dick
guy.
Miller, that's his real name.
Right.
Miller.
Are you talking about the guy who
Mr.
Futterman?
Mr.
Mr.
Futterman.
Futterman,
Yeah.
He's the one who already believed in Gremlins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's great. He's in it.
Yeah.
That's coded language. He doesn't believe in gremlins.
No, I know he's racist. I know.
He fought gremlins in Nam.
His heartbreak when he finds out there's foreign parts in his tractor.
Yeah,
Oh my
he
god.
believes in America is what he believes in.
When my uncle calls NBA players thugs, that's like him saying gremlin.
By the way, when I saw Dick Miller, I was like, oh, he's supposed to be playing some old like World War II veteran. And my first thought was, like, just looking at him, I was like, this is one of those things where he's supposed to be this old man, but now when I look at him, I'm like, he's probably fucking my age when he made this movie. Guess how old he actually is, though.
He's 32.
No, he was like 68 when he made this. What? So actually, pretty,
Holy
like
shit.
decently old. And he looks great. For
He's
that
moving
age.
pretty good, yeah.
Because he's in a 2-parter of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which would have been like 98 or something like that. So he would have been
Still
like in his 70s.
Yeah.
Just like,
Well, clearly he's taking
Yeah.
care of himself.
wow.
Do you think that the Peltzer, like the orange, which is what the juicer, has like a thing in the manual of like, for aesthetic purposes, please place oranges around the base.
Must be surrounded by oranges. We have this empty rail here that just looks dumb. If you
I do hate
look how much the oranges are. Oh Why would you? How could you live in this house? It's
on the ceiling.
Insane inventions running rampant.
How is the mom not enraged at her husband constantly?
and all of that is from one orange somehow. You only put one orange in there.
You know how she's not enraged at her husband? She is quietly, internally enraged at her husband, as all women of a certain era were, and she's just a good wife who wears an apron and smiles and pretends like nothing is wrong and pops Valiums and eventually, quote unquote, accidentally overdoses.
So when she fights those gremlins, like in the death, that she comes alive.
Yeah.
That's
That's her time.
That's
her
her taking out her Peltzer.
Yeah, I
rage.
kind of wanted,
finally
instead of her
alive.
being traumatized and taken to the doctor's house to be forgotten forever, I kind of wanted her to be like, I'm into this, let's go.
How do you feel like about the Peltzer logo though? Like the actual aesthetic of the Peltzer brand.
What is the logo?
it was on the orange thing, but yeah, it's
It's like
you
an
know,
orange and brown stripe.
It's a
like
standard
a big
P.
Yeah.
Standard P. Just regular old pee.
Oh, his room in the attic is so fucking sick.
Now, Harris, your brother had one of these rooms.
my brother, your friend Michael McCabe, once lived in the attic. He had options because when we moved in, there was only 3 bedrooms in the house that we grew up in, and so my brothers Michael and Johnny shared a bedroom at first, and I had the little room and they had the bigger room, and then Michael moved into the attic when he was still short enough that I think he could stand up there, but it was not a big attic like this. It was
like
tiny. It was like maybe 4.5 feet tall.
Is he as tall as you?
He's like 6'3" or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was
so he lived there for years in a room that he couldn't stand in, but it was better than having to share a bedroom. Oh, and it was so hot in the summer. Oh my God.
Yeah, but this is nice. It's like exposed brick, high ceilings.
Oh, that's a nice attic.
Yeah,
when
that's
I
a
was a
classy
little
attic.
kid, I like really wanted to like go in the attic all the time. It was like really fascinating to me, and like there was no point. It was nothing like this. My parents were like, "Why? Like, why are you doing this to yourself?"
Did I ever? I don't know if you know this story, Tim, but I don't think I've ever told you guys this story. So when we were kids, my brother, probably in middle school somewhere, and I had the room at the bottom of the stairs to the attic, and he had the room at the top of the attic. So like I literally had a door in my room that would open up into the attic stairs. And one night I wake up in the middle of the night and I hear like what sounds like rain on the roof. And I think it's like a drizzle of rain. And I'm like, no, that's definitely not rain. And it's not on the roof. It's coming from the stairwell to the attic. So I open up the door and my brother Michael is standing at the top of the stairs peeing down the stairs, and I open up the door and it's just splashing everywhere. And I'm like, Michael, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to the bathroom, leave me alone. he was sleep peeing.
Oh my God, man! I'm sorry I brought up the attic.
He finished.
Was he drunk or just?
No, he was like in 6th grade or something like that.
Oh wow!
He was sleep peeing, and he continued to sleep pee. He peed in a garbage can. He peed in another garbage can. He would like we would wake him up, and we would have to follow him to bed to make sure he didn't sleep pee somewhere. But yeah, that was.
I'm sorry, Mike, that I brought up the attic.
I have actually a similar story.
Sleep peeing?
Yeah. So
Let's go around the room.
Me and my brother shared a room like our entire lives, and so I think I was in college at this point, and I would come home like once a month or something for a weekend, and my brother he might have been like in his first year of college, and I was in my last or something like that. Anyway, he was like out partying, and he came home and he was wasted, and he just like laid down and went to bed. And I was like, I went to bed around the same time. And I'm laying there. I wasn't sleeping. I was like probably on my laptop or phone or something like that. And all of a sudden I hear my brother like getting up. And then all of a sudden like my feet were like sticking out at the end of the bed. And all of a sudden I just feel like liquid on my feet. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like I woke up.
You a golden shower.
Yeah, he pissed on my feet, like just drunk out of his mind. He like woke up and didn't know where the bathroom was and just like went. And he woke up and I was like screaming at him and he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, you just pissed on my feet. He's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, yes, you did.
All right, Colin.
Yeah, you're up next.
What's your,
I had a buddy who had
your piss story?
I had a buddy who had a roommate in college that would get drunk and pee in the vegetable crisper in the refrigerator, and like consistently, like open up the refrigerator, pull out the vegetable crisper and pee in it drunkenly, and then not remember it.
We're here on P-Pod. Email us your best pee stories.
See, now this is cold open material.
Why the crisper?
I don't know. And think about that. It's not like you're
Oh, my
confusing it with
Kyle.
a toilet. It's like you're opening a door and then opening a drawer.
Yeah, that's so complicated.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like using a urinal or a toilet.
Nope, it's not. But they tend to like to sleep peers tend to like to pee into something and just simulate that effect of.
At least they're not just going right on the floor.
Yeah.
You see,
not like an animal.
Mr. Peltzer here is trying to. Looks like he's making a. We have the movie on. It looks like he's trying to make a blackjack dealer or like a fucking card shuffler. Like that already exists, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
And all it does is spit the cards
It's
out
not
at
like you
random
can't
intervals.
improve on it. I remember all of these toys, by the way. The little portable video game, the little walking. Every toy in this movie, including the robot that twists its hips, that's in the stocking later. These were just what was under every tree at this stage.
All right, I think it's time that we should talk about the the Gremlins, like the effects that they use, the puppetry and all that stuff, the animatronics. For 1984, I think this is incredible, right? Like
it holds up really well.
It holds up really well.
Definitely does.
I think the monster Gremlins look better than these guys. But I mean, even this, like,
Well, did you read because of the size of the Mogwai, it was so hard to fit like the articulated animatronics in them, so they
Right.
were constantly malfunctioning because they're so much smaller. So the Gremlins definitely move better, but still the Mogwai faces are really good.
the shots of them eating the chicken, like voraciously, those are actually
Close-ups.
giant.
Oh yeah,
They made them like this big.
that
you
makes
know?
sense.
Yeah, and that's
so
how they
funny.
did that.
Because it looks really like the lips and everything really move.
But they're like, I'd rather watch I sound like an old guy, but I'd rather watch like a shitty animatronic than a CGI thing. And they have like personality. Like even
Yeah.
when he's playing the trumpet and they spit at him and he looks sad, it's like, oh man, he
Yeah.
was having such a good time.
Yeah.
Just chilling with
They
the
feel
dog.
more real. They feel like you can buy that they're real things, you know? Yeah. And I would say, like, in general, the special effects for this movie, the gore and everything, they do a nice job of everything. And also, they don't, for a movie that didn't have a huge budget, they, like, milk it for all it's worth in terms of both the creature effects and also, like, I'm thinking of, like, when Spike jumps in the pool. Like that looks so good. It's like a cheap effect, but like you could see how you might, kind of half-ass that or not get the most out of it. But it's like the whole room fills with smoke.
That in no
It's
way
so lit up.
improves upon a hammer.
Or this, the fly swatter.
Fly swatter. Yeah.
If it
Fly swatter
spins, the
power
fly
drill.
swatter is like this. How do you get a fly at that angle?
Fucking wave that thing around.
Hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
you can't even do a fucking coffee maker. I mean, that's already been
this is
perfected.
gross.
Yeah.
There's like 8 different kinds of coffee makers, and the Feltzer one is.
Yeah,
the
how
one
does it
that's-
even how would you even produce sludge like that from any ingredient?
You have to add like
and-
oil.
and
What is that one right
yeah,
there?
what is the
To make it
It's
run.
an artichoke.
Okay, to
Whoa, yeah. Is he trying to use the artichoke as a battery, or is he?
Is it connected to a speaker?
I never noticed that
Is
artichoke.
the artichoke
That's
powering
incredible.
the speaker?
Yeah, that is
or
a
the
speaker.
speaker powering the artichoke.
No, I think he's like reading the artichoke's thoughts. He's like coming through the speaker.
It's like, help me.
Speaking of
How
the
does
practical,
he have the technical knowledge to read an artichoke's thoughts, and he can't make a cup of coffee
he's
not
a-
be sludge?
he's an out of control scientist.
Yeah.
ADHD was not diagnosed at this
Yeah,
time.
the irony is that the artichoke's thought thing is really successful, but also useless.
It's like
because-
science running wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of the practical effects, how did they hang that fucking dog with the Christmas lights?
They really did it.
Yeah, it looks like
Poor
they
dog.
just hung the dog up with Christmas lights. This was before animal cruelty was.
They didn't like.
That's why no one bats an eye when the woman is like talking about chopping the dog's
Yeah.
head
Yeah.
off or whatever.
This is back in the 80s. We killed dogs all the time.
Even Billy, the pushover owner of the dog, is like, "You want to do that to my dog?"
he's like
Instead
asking
of
for more information. Like I think he's getting off on it. He's like, "Yeah, tell me what else would you do to the dog?
such a little bitch, like an old
Would you
woman
step on
talking
him in your
about.
heels?"
Oh God!
I will say while
Russian.
he's meeting with the science teacher, this is one of my favorite sweaters Billy has in the film. There's some
Yeah,
great
I'm
sweaters
noticing
in
the
this
clothing
film.
a lot more watching
Yeah.
it with no sound on. In hindsight, though,
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
So like the Gremlins and the Mogwai, when they're Mogwai, they don't have anything down there, right? Like
They have genitals.
Got
Colin.
dicks.
They don't need
No,
they don't
I-
need genitals because that's
I
not how they
completely
reproduce.
thought they do not have genitals at all, and you guys immediately are like they have dicks.
Okay, we're gonna pause this for a week. We're gonna order one of the vintage Gizmo dolls off eBay, and we'll take a look and we'll start the pot up again.
You got to part the hair. It's in there.
If they have genitals, I would
What
think
is
they're
the
on
point?
their
They
back.
reproduce by
Right.
getting wet.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Also, how do they poop and pee if they don't have like things down there? They've got to have
they
something.
can't pee because there's no water. If
Right.
they pee and they get any of the pee on
So
themselves.
you're saying that these animals only have an anus because they don't have a function for any kind of urine or sexual?
They
It
are-
almost seems
they are
like
like-
this species was invented by Rand Peltzer.
They're a species that
great.
does not. They're like a liquidless species. They don't need
Right.
water for sustenance.
they can't pee.
and they don't pee.
But they're drinking sodas in the movie theater, so a little bit of liquid isn't going to hurt them.
It's got to be pure
It's got to be
water.
pure water.
Oh.
And apparently chlorinated water too also counts. But
Yeah, that's messed up.
I wonder
Because
if
soda
that could-
is
I wonder if
water
that
with
creates a
just like
different-
Right.
flavor.
Yeah.
It's water and sugar and carbonation.
Yeah.
It's stuff. It's
It's
good
like
stuff
soda,
in it.
like the soda machines that you use,
May-
like that combines the
maybe.
carbonated
Found
water
the,
and the,
the
syrup.
carbonation kills the multiplying agent.
Oh.
Maybe it's the water on the exterior. Don't get them wet on the outside, but they can get as wet as they want on the inside. which
Those insides
is,
are wet.
They're getting wet.
Harris, now you're a few
Sorry.
years older than me,
I can't.
and the group. I think. So if it was like, close to this time period, and you found or were gifted a species that had not been discovered, would you bring it to your like middle school science teacher to examine?
That would be probably the smartest scientist I knew at that stage. Although, it was.
Billy's like 20 or 21, right, at this time?
He feels like he should be having better plans for things, but yeah, he feels like he should be growing up a lot faster than he is, anyways. He definitely is at the. Like, he's not I don't think Billy's the brightest guy in there. That's my takeaway from this movie. I don't think Billy's super smart.
He plays it well. I mean, so I was going to say, going back
He plays dumb
plays
really
dumb
well.
real
Zach
he's
Galligan.
probably the worst actor in this movie, and that's made even more clear in the second movie, which we'll get to. But whatever he's doing in this, playing like the sort of the dopey, like innocent guy, the hometown guy or whatever, like he does that really well.
Did you read why they cast him?
No.
Okay, so he didn't have a lot of acting experience. There was a lot of much more talented actors that tried out for the part. And apparently he made it through to like the chemistry read with Phoebe Cates, who'd already been cast and who'd already done Fast Times and was
She's
already
really good.
She was kind of a sex symbol, and this was like getting away from that and getting her to like a normal role.
Normal.
like a normal nice girl role, because she had played, pretty much only like
The object of affection.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And apparently he came into the chemistry read with her, and it was so obvious that he was so in love with her that they were like, oh my God, this guy's perfect if he just does that. And this scene, we're watching the scene where he asks her out and then is like shocked that she says yes. And because honestly, when you look at her, aside from the fact that they look like they could be brother and sister, when you look at her in this movie, she is super cute. And she should definitely do
Her
better.
hat in this scene.
Yeah, if she wasn't in this stupid town with nothing but losers, her options are him or Judge Reinhold. And
So you're saying you're leaning Reinhold. He is a bank. He is a bank manager at 23. That's right. He'll have the old man's job by 25.
Did you see the
and
coat?
he will never move out of this town.
Did you see the coat he was wearing?
What is the
Fur collar.
Yeah.
what's the
fur collar.
2023 equivalent of like
Judge
come
Reinhold?
bang me because I have cable, which I think he says to.
Showtime?
He says it. We're talking cable.
I love that. Is it Showtime? Does it have to be better than Showtime?
Now?
Yeah.
Everyone has Showtime.
Okay. What is it?
Or like
Yeah, no, that's what he's asking. What is the equivalent of
I
telling
know
somebody
my
in the early 80s that you
my
have
it's
answer
like
is
a
Showtime.
fucking
It's not a good answer.
Lamborghini or something. I would
A
assume.
in your living room?
Yeah, like a Cruising USA machine. No, I don't know.
Cruising.
I don't know. I don't think.
I mean, a nice car would have been good back then too. So I guess it's.
I don't
it's
know
like,
if there is
yeah.
an equivalent. That'd be like if you were talking to a girl in a bar and you were like, "Hey, come back to my place. We're talking 4K TV." Like what's
No,
like,
I think it would
that's
be more.
high
I think
tech.
Get
it would be more
away
like,
from
I think it would be more
Get
like
away
a million TikTok followers.
Oh.
Okay, interesting.
We're talking YouTube plaque.
Exactly.
Check this
Did you
out.
say plaque? Like what you get on your teeth?
No, like if you
Colin,
have a.
stop intentionally misunderstanding things.
Is that his thing?
It's not. Normally it isn't, but it's not a good bit.
I did say plaque.
Yes, plaque. You get a plaque when you got enough YouTube followers.
Oh, I thought he was saying PLAQUE.
Harris, do you know what
The way he
he's, what,
pronounced it sounded like it was with the Q.
do you know what he's watching on TV here?
It is with a Q.
Oh, the movie? No, I don't.
I think it's a Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, yeah?
I think it's the monsters are due on Maple Street.
Oh yeah, it might be. Yeah.
And he's like, they're coming for you or whatever. And the actor, you'll see in a second, the actor who's yelling, he's the actor from the Twilight Zone movie that we just watched.
oh right, yeah,
He's in the scene with the little boy who controls everything.
that's true.
Is he eating a ham and jelly sandwich?
It
on
looks like a
white bread?
bologna sandwich.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. You're totally right. That is the same actor, because I remembered I saw him from something, and I was like, "What is this?" And that's totally what it is.
Because and the,
Oh, yeah.
the connection is that Joe Dante directed that sequence in the Twilight
Oh,
Zone.
right.
Six pack of
yeah.
beer, gallon of milk,
Can we,
plate of uncovered fried chicken. That's
we
a
should
fridge.
jump back and analyze what's in that fridge.
I want to. Can we go back?
Would that be okay? I saw like that's way too far. I saw like a Hershey's. There was like a Hershey's syrup, I think.
Classic.
And the Gremlins are self-aware, right? Like they are.
They're still
They know
Mogwais at
exactly
this
what's
point.
going
and
on.
the evil Mogwais. I mean,
Yeah,
but they're
they-
like
Yeah,
All right. What are we?
What is in the back right? What is that red
that's
light,
a Peltzer.
green
That's
light
a
thing?
pepper
There's a
hooked up
Peltzer.
to a Peltzer mind control machine.
It is a red pepper hooked up to a Peltzer machine.
What's in that vegetable crisper there? Oh, it's urine.
it looks like there may be some like salmon in a bag.
Yeah,
I
is
think
that
there's
what's
some
under the wheel of cheese?
There's a wheel
Okay.
of cheese, and I think some kind of meat in a bag.
That is a massive piece of salmon.
I believe
if
those
that's
might
salmon.
be wine coolers on the next to that.
That's a six-pack of beer on the
definitely
left.
a 6-pack of beer.
Lowenbrow and hot dogs.
I think that, I'm not sure what that is. That a bottle of wine in the back, or is that wouldn't be like?
I think that's another bottle of beer that just got moved over.
I think I see a
okay.
jar of mayonnaise.
I think
behind
that's
the beer.
Lowenbrow. I'm telling you, and there's 3
Yeah.
hot dogs.
What is this behind the milk? Is that a pickle jar? Or is that a jar of some other kind of green liquid?
Ooh.
See how it's diagonal?
Anyway, if you want to go to where there's an hour and 7 minutes left and pause it, and you two can analyze the Peltzer family fridge.
what happened to whatever she was putting all those onions.
But
in? They'd have
prominently-
no leftovers. Were they just eating a pile of chopped onions?
It was for the homeless. She fucking drove it down to the shelter.
just a pile of onions.
I got your pile of homeless people.
onions for you.
What's it called? What's the term when they like turn things so that you can't see the label in movies?
Turning.
No, come on.
Cheat.
Rotating.
No one knows. All right.
Cheated away from the camera. That's yeah.
It's called like
You're thinking of Greek, which is when they change the label to be something generic. They make it look like it's Pepsi, but it says like Popsy or
Lepsy.
something like
no.
that.
I thought Greek like when you Greek something, it's like you're hiding the real logo.
No, when you Greek something, you use like fake letters to make it. The reason they call it Greek is because it looks like they're Greek letters, because you're basically you have a label that looks like Stella Artois.
Yeah, and it said it's Bella Fartois.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it.
Bella Fartois. That's pretty
Smell
good, right?
smell a fart.
Yeah,
Oh,
my-
smell a Fartois. That's really good. That's really good.
See, Gizmo is a real one though. Like he was offered the chicken.
Yeah.
He knew what time it was.
And
he
this guy's
politely
going home
declined.
for the night, but he's leaving his like half-eaten
Half a
sandwich.
Have you ever eaten half a sandwich and then just been like, yeah,
I'm just gonna leave
fuck
it here, 5 feet away from this
Also,
wild
he's eating-
animal.
He's eating his sandwich at 3 a.m.
That's not even half the sandwich. He ate a fifth.
He took
of that
like
sandwich.
2 bites.
He stole that from a student though. That was clearly like a student.
Who would eat 30 bag lunches?
He
exactly.
finds himself working late at the lab. He's like, what kind of old student lunches do I have in my teacher drawer?
That was a mom prepared that with love.
There he is, that guy right there.
Yeah, that is him. Yeah, that's definitely the guy. This is totally the Monsters on Maple Street.
And there's a nice Road Warrior poster back there.
Yeah, I noticed that. You never see it beyond that angle though.
I also like his sheets and pillowcases. Those
That Gizmo face where he's falling asleep is fucking weird. Dude.
It looks like he's melting.
yeah.
It's like the rejected model.
Yep, and he's not happy because he knows what's up.
Oh, here we go. These fucking egg
Now,
sacks.
I'm wondering, how old is Gizmo? Because he's clearly been through some shit. Because he knows all this
So
stuff.
you think
Like,
he's seen this before? Like
I think he's
them-
been through this. He's seen Gremlins
Yeah.
destroy an entire town.
Actually, when the water gets spilled on him the first time, like the pain in his face is like, oh, not again. You know? what I mean?
yeah. There's a lot of Gizmo life. He could be like hundreds of years old. We don't know what the life expectancy is of Mogwai.
I
Do you
love.
think it's painful, like when they get water on them?
He's going. Yeah, man. He was in agony.
Or in ecstasy.
He's having childbirth, like
Yeah,
straight
maybe
out of
he's
his.
It's like
enjoying
coming.
it.
He's
Yeah,
just like
okay.
coming.
Like,
He's
oh
fuck-
my God, it's too much. Oh,
Yeah, it is. You're right. When she, yeah,
Oh,
when you
God, that
nut
was a
and you
lot.
keep multiplying.
Yeah, yeah. He has multiples.
I should not have asked that.
So, yeah, this is like the pee thing all over again. No, so I like the egg, like the gross out sort of aesthetic of the eggs, because like we watched this around Christmas time with a bunch of people. I think you were there,
Yeah, I
right?
was
In
there.
my house, and like people who hadn't seen the movie were like reacting very well to it. First of all,
to
like
the eggs.
just how it aged, but also like I remember when the eggs are like, oh my God, that's fucking disgusting. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Especially this guy in the cage, the egg in the cage. Ugh.
I mean, like it's just like it's that cool '80s
And young Corey Feldman is
tactile
playing
grossness.
with
They're a
the
lot
slime.
They're a
Kids
lot
love
like
slime.
the eggs from Alien.
Yes, they are.
Yep.
But they kind of Aliens has that same thing, like the webbing, that like goo that looks like solid webbing. That's like a cool effect.
All right. Top 4.
Oh, we're ready to do
yeah.
it.
Let's do it.
Is it Phoebe Cates?
No, we're doing top 4 Corey Feldman.
for Lynn
Oh,
Peltzer.
Corey Feldman.
Feldman.
Have we even mentioned him on this podcast yet?
I don't think so, which is why he's a great top 4. Let's do it.
Remind me what this is. The IMDb.
Top 4 is, what does IMDb consider Corey Feldman's movies that he's best known for?
How do they? It's just
There is no
We
formula.
don't know.
The formula is chaos.
okay.
The formula is chaos.
So Lost Boys.
Ooh.
Wait, was it my turn?
The guest does go first. Hang on a
Sorry.
second. I'm still looking for it.
Is that Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, it is Spielberg right there.
Yeah. The Invention Convention set is pretty.
I love how he's like on the phone. He's like, "Oh, it's a little more advanced than I expected."
Yeah, there.
He's
I love the
intimidated.
time. You see the time machine in the background, and then when we cut back, the time machine's gone. And
Oh,
everyone's
really?
looking around. Watch what they. So they've got the time machine from like the H.G. Wells Time Machine movie. And I think also like Time After Time and a bunch of other things. It's the one with the big spinning wheel in the back.
Oh my god, that
When
is
they cut
incredible.
back to the phone call, it's gone, and everyone's looking around frantically, like, where did it go?
That's great. I never noticed that before.
That's amazing.
It's hilarious. Okay. Oh, this should be a good one. All right. So Tim says Lost Boys, and Lost Boys is correct.
That is correct.
Is it my turn?
It can be.
Stand by Me.
Colin says Stand By Me, and Stand By Me is correct.
That is
nice.
correct.
Damn.
I really leached that answer.
I'm gonna say
yeah, that didn't work.
The
Because there's
Burbs.
leeches in it.
He's in that.
The Burbs is a wonderful guess, and also
That
another
joke
Joe
was like
Dante
a dead
movie,
body on the
but
train
it
track.
is wrong.
Damn.
All right, The Burbs is a good guess, though. I like that, and it ties in because it's a Joe Dante movie, but it's not right.
I like to bring things full circle.
Yeah. Tim, back to you.
All right, I'm gonna take a little left turn here. My next guess is like a 2015 short film and music video that he directed.
You have
Do
to have
you
a
remember
name.
what it's called? It
No,
doesn't
I'm
have a
just
name.
no.
That's wrong, but it's also amazing. It's everyone should look this up. It's like him doing basically a Michael Jackson pop star impression, and it's hilarious.
Take a swing.
Yeah.
Gremlins.
Gremlins is also wrong.
Wrong.
God, I know he's in so many movies.
He is in a lot.
I gotta think. We've already said like the good ones.
Oh, nobody said License to Drive. Don't guess License to Drive because it's wrong, but nobody said it. The good ones, please.
Corey Feldman. I don't know. I might need a hint here.
How
It's
much time
so
you get
good.
before the buzzer goes off?
Because
When the eggs hatch.
well,
hatching.
I'll say-
I mean, you should. There's another easy one that's an ensemble picture that is really easy that you guys should get. There's another kind of obvious one.
I'll say Lost Boys 3, The Tribe.
Lost Boys Through the Tribe is wrong.
So the Goonies is what.
Yes,
you're
the
talking
Goonies
Oh,
is one.
fuck,
Yes,
yeah.
very good. Nice
That
job,
is
Tim.
about. I
correct.
did a guess, and it still got back to me
Yeah.
to get the Goonies. Yeah.
Okay. This last one, I am going to give you one more hint.
That will help me.
Because it's going to be very tough for you to get this one on its own. This is one of the big horror franchises, and according to its title, it's one of the last. Although I don't think that's accurate.
I think I know what it is.
Halloween 5, the last one.
Good guess, but wrong, and also not a good guess.
I think it might be
I don't know.
Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
No,
Ah, damn.
wrong franchise.
Wrong.
and wrong-
Friday the 13th Part 4. The
final-
final Friday or something.
Final chapter.
Final chapter.
Okay,
yes.
that is the best
Yes,
one,
Friday
I
the
think.
13th, the final chapter is correct.
I like that
Damn.
one.
So, Tim, killed it. Killed
That
top 4
is
today.
That was a
correct.
sweet baby.
Yeah.
Well, you got all 4?
No, I got 3.
Colin got one.
Oh, yeah, I got one.
That is if you're gonna watch a Jason movie, that's the best one, I think. You know, actually, this is a good segue if we're talking about, because the 2 times I've been on the show, I like to see what everyone thought was the best kill in the movie, and this one like doesn't have a lot of Mrs. Deagle would probably be the
That's
winner.
probably the best
Yes,
one.
that's the best.
But so does this science teacher? You find him. He's like face down with a syringe in his butt cheek. But
So-
is he dead? Is he?
I want to talk about this because this was my biggest surprise. I've seen this movie several times, but not recently, and I saw it a lot as a kid, and I haven't seen it in a long time. And I have to say that this was the biggest surprise in the entire movie for me, because if you had asked me before I watched this yesterday, like, how does describe the science teacher's death? I would have said, like, he gets his arm bit off and he's screaming and it lasts for forever. And, it's horrifying, because this was honestly one of the deaths that bothered me the most as a kid about this movie. And in reality, he's feeding the Mogwai under the desk. He hears it nibbling on the candy bar, and then it bites his arm, and he sort of gets pulled towards the desk a little bit, and then we cut away, and we don't see anything else until he's under with his head stuck under the desk, and we don't even see, there's no gore, there's no anything, but my child imagination had his arm being completely eaten off and him bleeding to death under the desk, because they just had the thing where, like, the heart pumps, whatever, 32 ounces of blood in a minute or whatever. They're describing this in the film strip that's playing in the background, which is also kind of like disgusting and horrifying.
Yeah.
But it's, I really, this is a great moment where it's like the suggestion of something terrible happening is so much more powerful than actually seeing the gore. At least for a kid, it was.
Is he the first one to die in this movie
Yeah.
too? It's like that was like the trope of the time. Is like the
Yeah.
black guy.
so he does that.
Yeah.
Is what you're as the guy.
I think the needle in his butt implies that they shot like an air full of a syringe full of air.
what a way
remember
to
it was
go.
Put an
because-
air bubble in your
Yeah,
bloodstream.
I
and
thought it
kills
was
you.
just them getting revenge from him injecting them.
Could be
But he
that.
didn't
because-
inject them. He took their blood, which is
Well, yeah,
But they still got poked
they
with a
poked him with a
syringe.
needle. Yeah. So I thought that was just a callback to him saying it's not going to hurt a bit and blah 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 blah. And then
We really didn't see anything happen to him at all, though.
no, we don't see anything. But watch this though. When Billy shows up and sees the needle in his ass, watch how well this is. This sort of goes back to my point about the pool and how well that's lit and just executed. We see the needle in his ass because they must have shined a light sideways to really make it glow. Because look at how much this pops.
Yeah, I see it.
Like, it's just so
It's from
well.
the left, I think.
Yeah, or else they put something in it to make it light up. Maybe they just put a tiny. I don't even know if they had LEDs small enough to put in there at this stage. But like, they made it glow, and it's so important to draw your eye to it. Whereas, like, I was thinking, like, if we were shooting this, we wouldn't have the presence of mind or the preparation to like be like, how do we really make this stand out? And the solution would be like, well, zoom in closer or something. But these guys are really good at their jobs, and they kind of nail these little details.
Yeah, that's a
Seeing
good
him now, he
observation.
does look dead as hell.
He looks dead. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't make
I
it.
would say the performance by Billy also suggests dead.
And the school scene with the first reveal of the gremlin is so good. Like, you see the claw, it inflicts damage right away. Fucking cuts
Yeah.
his hand open,
Yeah, these things are dangerous.
and then it the pop out of the cabinet is so good. Like, you see when you see it for that first time, because you're watching this. I mean, I assume that it wasn't in the trailer, right? But and you don't know what these things are going to look like when they pop out of the eggs.
Yeah.
So
The
when you see
trailers
it, it's like-
intentionally hid both they didn't have a lot of gizmo either. They really just wanted to give away very little.
Which would not happen today.
Yeah. I remember, I recall the trailer being like, he was given this as a gift on Halloween. Yeah, that's like a great jump scare moment when it pops out. It's the first time we see him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like he was given it as a gift on Halloween, and there were only 3 rules. Don't get it wet. Don't feed it after midnight. Don't whatever. Don't get it in the light. And he broke those rules. And then it's like just cuts of like mayhem.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God, this is such a great sequence.
Oh. See, there's nothing down there.
You don't know.
I see a little bump, like a mound, if you will.
If you shaved him, I bet you'd get a pretty good idea.
Colin is a little fucking pecker checker with the gremlins.
Colin, what is your interest in gremlin genitalia, anyways?
Can I fuck one of these things or what?
More importantly, can it fuck me? Like, what kind of woman is making giant gingerbread cookies?
She's been making them all day, too.
I know.
In previous scenes.
Like,
she just repeatedly just keeps
She
churning out
has a sad life.
You're
and
right,
She knows
I
it.
never-
She knows it, and she just won't fight back against it.
I never picked up how depressed she was.
She's so
She is very depressed. She kind of, there's a part of her that like secretly is hoping for death until death comes knocking.
Yeah.
And then she realizes she got some fight in her yet.
Yeah.
You can watch the whole movie from her perspective.
I love the aesthetic of this house too. It's so 80s, like a carpet everywhere.
Wall to wall, baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then like the photos of the kids as babies like going up the stairs. That's such an 80s
Oh,
thing
that's
too.
so.
You think their bathroom's carpeted?
Oh yes, absolutely. And it's
so
got a carpeted toilet seat.
Oh,
too.
the carpet that goes on the
You know
toilet lid.
Oh
You
my
know it.
god!
And oh man.
and probably
disgusting,
a soft toilet under
Oh,
side
yeah.
seat.
There's
cushy
probably
thing.
some sort of malfunctioning Peltzer
Oh my god.
toilet seat warmer.
Oh, believe me, these people are terrified to shit in their own homes.
It's your toilet, buddy.
The Peltzer bidet really didn't take off.
Yes, the bidet.
It's actually called the Peltzer ass blaster.
There's just shit everywhere.
It somehow turns your own shit into more disgusting shit.
Oh my god. Yes.
Peltzer way.
I love that the gremlin
Nightmare
eggs
home.
glow. Oh, I never noticed the footprints right there.
Oh yeah. That's good.
Oh, that's nice.
They glow green from the inside. I like that.
Yeah, and also like I love the idea that the gremlins are born with like inherited knowledge of the world.
They speak English.
Like they speak English, they can read. We know certain things from observing them. They speak English, they can read, they can operate electronics at a level that I can't because they can actually sabotage them and make them work in different ways.
Well,
they're not
that's
supposed to.
their thing.
They know this. They know the words to songs. They come up with Christmas carols and they sing along to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Two things they've never seen before. And
They
and
can
it's-
reference pop culture in like a satirical way.
and it's all just genetically passed down to them.
Yes. That makes sense.
They're not of this world, Harris.
I love it. No, I love it. I love that there's no explanation for this because I'm like, yeah, I buy it.
This
This
is why you don't hook artichokes up to make them sentient with a Peltzer machine.
Yeah, these gremlins are probably some offshoot of some other Peltzer invention.
Yeah.
Dude, Gremlins prequel is coming to Netflix in 2025, and it's going to be young Peltzer making Gremlins by accident or
Yeah,
Mogwai.
yeah.
They actually just released a trailer yesterday of a new Gremlins prequel animated series that's coming out, which looks terrible.
I gotta tell you, when you say animated, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get what's great about this.
First of all, an animated Gremlins show should have came out in like 1990.
Okay, I think in this movie, when you're talking about best kills, you really have to go with
That's
best
pretty good.
gremlin kills.
Yeah.
And our first nominee is the gremlin in the blender. The first gremlin that's killed in this movie.
No, I think
and
the
it's
next
fucking
one,
awesome.
the next one's the best.
She's got them all. She's
I mean,
a-
all of them are great. She stabs this motherfucker right to death.
Oh, okay.
And then she microwaves
The
the
microwave,
motherfucker.
yeah.
And they're all great. Like the look on her face when as she stabs this creature to death is some really good acting.
Like this movie's almost fucking over right here. She kills all the Gremlins but one.
Yeah.
If she
well,
had just
until Spike gets in the pool.
yeah, but I mean, like had she
She almost
killed him, that's
pulled it off. Yeah.
It's like a mini slasher movie in this house.
Oh,
right now.
it's a house of horrors if you're a fucking gremlin. She sprays him with bug poison and then microwaves him. Are you kidding me?
Oh wow.
Okay, also, we saw very clear the Peltzer logo. It's a light bulb, but the right half of the light bulb is a P.
Oh yeah. See, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's horrifying. 'cause Peltzer inventions
Better
will
head
kill you.
explosion, this or the
Oh,
guy
that's
in
nasty.
License
Scanners?
to Kill.
Oh.
This.
License to Kill.
Yeah, License to Kill is
Kill's
gross,
pretty
but
good.
this is better. I think.
all the Gremlins effects are so fucking
Look, that
good.
one's dying slowly behind her, and she doesn't even give a fuck.
he's bleeding out.
Oh my
there.
god, he's still twitching.
Yeah, she stabbed him to death. She just left him bleeding out. She doesn't even care.
So yeah, Lynn Peltzer, she has the best scene in this movie.
Yes.
This
I mean,
kitchen
this is-
scene, the whole house scene is incredible.
Everything about this is amazing. And then the fight with first of all, the Christmas tree gremlin's eyes that you see they're like lit up like Christmas tree lights
Very dope.
behind her. Great jump scare moment. And then she's struggling and he's got her and she's like down by the tree. I mean, great fake out here with the robot and the stocking.
Yeah.
And then Billy comes in and decapitates him and his head flies into the fire. Like from the moment she goes downstairs and blends the dude to the guy getting his head chopped off into the fire is like maybe the best sequence in the history of cinema. Is that going too far?
Top 8.
Yeah.
Growing up,
It's definitely up there.
It's tough when we watch Crocodile Dundee 2 earlier.
growing up, you know how you always hear about like those famous mistakes
Look at the eyes,
in
look at the
movies?
girls'
That
eyes.
is incredible.
Oh, I saw him. I
yeah.
just saw the guy. What I was gonna say is like I've always heard that you can see like the guy controlling the tree, but I've never been able to see it until right now as I'm saying it. You guys want to go back? I'll point him out.
Colin's
I just
giant TV screen.
I like how the whole sequence just feels so like
Gasps.
it feels like there's real danger.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I don't want to step on the cameraman in the shot. But to me, like a lot of horror comedies don't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, it's like the humans aren't in on the joke at all.
All right, get ready to pause it. Ready now.
Oh my
I
god!
saw him. I saw him.
Yeah, that's so funny. He's
saw
like
him.
wearing
Did
a
you
red
see
shirt too.
Yeah, I saw him.
like,
That
why
guy
would
was
you
Why
do
is he
that?
wearing a red shirt?
Shouldn't he wear like stage blacks?
That guy
or
was just
green?
walking around the Peltzer home.
Yeah. Maybe there's like we could do like a David Lynch thing where he becomes part of the mythology of like he's really the demon that's behind all the gremlins.
That's why they know all this shit.
He's another Peltzer invention.
I would like to point out that here's why Spike is the smartest
Stripe.
gremlin. Stripe, sorry.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Spike is 2.
Yeah, Spike is too. Stripe is the smartest gremlin because he sees this happening. He could help this dude finish her off, but he's like, I'm going to wait and see how this plays out because as long as I'm safe, I can make more of this guy.
Yeah, good call, man.
There's the sword. Whoa.
And the
one
mom was smart enough to
swipe.
duck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
So I've seen this movie 20 times. I never realized. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
That's a
he's
great shot.
shrieking in the fire. The decapitated head is shrieking.
Yeah, he looks great
Yeah.
with his mohawk.
Mom, it's Stripe.
He's blowing his nose.
So like,
Blowing his nose in their curtains, just showing his disdain for their house.
they're saying like the humans are not in on the joke. Like the gremlins are having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
But like Phoebe Cates bartending is like, this sucks, and these things are gonna kill me.
Yeah.
she keeps
bartending. Yeah,
Just
it's so
keeping
good.
her alive.
It's so good.
As long as she's got the booze, man, and the popcorn, they're not gonna kill her.
Yeah.
And then you got the fucking gremlin with the ski mask and the gun, like, and the snub nose. Like that's a
Yep.
weird.
Why would he know to do that?
I like
Yeah.
the barfly gremlins that they cut to. The guys
Yep.
like smoking cigarettes and stuff.
Yep.
We're not there yet. Come on.
It's so good.
I didn't know we were,
You want to do a Phoebe Cates top 4?
Yeah, but I looked at it already, so
Oh, you cheater.
I have to host it unless you're looking at it right now.
I am not.
Okay.
But
I can't even name 4.
I only know 3 movies that she's in.
All right, you guys ready? I'm ready. It's
Yeah,
already open.
Guest goes first. Go ahead.
Gremlins.
Gremlins is correct.
That is correct.
Gremlins 2.
Gremlins 2 is incorrect.
What?
Damn.
I feel like I'm gonna go with Fast Times because I have another one that I know
Fast Times is correct.
that I know is wrong, but I
That
want to.
is correct.
Gremlins 2. No, I don't
It's
know.
already been guessed.
I can't think of another Phoebe Cates movie.
Yeah.
I really can't. I'm
I
sorry.
only know one more. I know that they're so.
I'm sorry,
There
Miss
was a movie
Cates, if
she
you're
made
listening.
right after Fast Times
She
that I
listens
can't
to
remember the
every
name
episode.
of. That's like another kind of like teen. It's not a teen sex comedy, but it's another reason that she was considered.
Another like
All right.
ensemble cast kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this movie, the synopsis is a young woman finds her already unstable life rocked by the presence
This is the one that I was going to guess.
of a rambunctious
I'm
imaginary
gonna
friend.
guess it from
Oh,
I'm gonna
yes. I
guess
forgot
Don't-
she's in
You
that.
just gave it to Matt.
Yeah.
Matt, it's your guess. Go ahead.
Tim hasn't
guess
got it wrong officially yet. He has to guess something.
Oh, wait, I know this movie.
Her
Hold on.
life upended by
Why
a
don't you give us a clue for the
rambunctious
other
what?
one, the fourth one that we're not.
Okay, the
never
fourth
gonna
one,
guess.
Chris from a girls'
I think
boarding
this
school
would be a good time to use the restroom.
loves Jim from a nearby boys' boarding
That's
school.
right. What is it called? Is it
Jordan
called boarding
also
school?
wants Jim and plays dirty. Jim and 2 friends visit the girls' school posing as girls.
Yeah. What is this? Oh my God. It is called. It's called like. It's called Bosom Buddies. No, it's called boarding school. No, it's called something. Well, that's not what.
Okay,
I'm,
Matt, do your guess.
I can't think of it, but wait, I know it. It's like
Yeah.
Drop Dead Fred.
Drop Dead
Yes.
Fred is correct.
That is correct.
So now I got to get the boarding school one.
Yeah,
Well,
you're on the right track.
What was the last movie she made? Was it Gremlins 2 or
it's
Drop
not
Dead Fred?
boarding school. It's
Who?
it's something about a school.
Who is the guy in Drop Dead Fred?
Ski
Rick
school?
Mayall?
I think he's like a British actor.
Yeah, he is a British actor.
Oh, it has Carrie Fisher.
Shit. Yeah, I can't believe you gave Matt Drop Dead Fred.
I didn't give anyone anything.
We shouldn't even been in the hint round yet. We weren't even around twice.
I think I've seen Drop Dead Fred, but I can't remember it at all. I
remember
really
that
want to
it-
watch it.
I remember
right
that
now.
it was pitched as like a Tim Burton-esque wild,
But it sucks.
thing,
We
but
should
it
do it
sucks.
as the bonus. for
I
this.
really
Oh my
want to
God,
watch it.
So it's only if it's free. I will
This
not
effect
pay
is
for
awesome.
Drop Dead Fred because I saw Drop Dead Fred in the theater. I won't pay for that twice. Yeah, the pool's fucking dope. Like if you're gonna birth a billion gremlins, this is how you should make it look.
I remember this sequence used to scare me as a kid, and then like the next shot, I think, when all the gremlins come down the street, I remember like that was scary to me. When I was
Yeah,
a
and that's
kid.
one of the few stop motion shots they do with the gremlins coming down the street. It's not boarding school. It's,
Boarding school is incorrect, but you are
guess I
very,
had this by now.
very, very close.
We don't have it because Colin's clue sucks.
It's not. Oh, and you know who that guy is?
Jonathan
right
Banks, baby.
Jonathan Banks, yeah.
there, Mike
from-
Ehrmantraut.
Yeah.
What's like a more generic name for a boarding school?
Sleep military school. I don't know.
Sleep military school is incorrect.
Wrong.
Sleepaway school.
No, like what type of school is
Oh,
a
sure.
boarding
Give
school?
Matt more hints.
Like, you know, like so, like what kind of
where was this before I guessed?
What
Damn
kind
it.
of-
Private school. Private school.
private school is correct?
Wow.
Guess out of
is
turn doesn't count.
correct.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, get it? Because it's like a sexy
He's
movie.
just shouting
Private.
Yeah.
clues into the ether. I'm just trying to end it.
That was merciful of you to end it. Jonathan Banks in one of his few not villainous performances in this era of his career. He was
still
the
pretty villainous.
bad guy in Beverly Hills Cop 2, or was it the first one? Yeah, it was 2, right?
First one.
First one.
It is first one.
He's the main baddie.
No,
in that?
no, he's the
Oh.
main henchman.
Henchman number one, the mini boss.
The second one has Bridget Nielsen,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right.
and then like another foreign guy, right?
Yeah, a big like. Oh no, I'm thinking of Lethal Weapon. Beverly Hills Cop 2. Yeah, I can't remember. That's the
Look
one.
at the
That's the Tony
Futterman's
Scott
fake
one.
fire.
Talk about a fucking demented housewife.
Yeah.
Mrs. Futterman, I'm sorry.
Oh man,
And I love how like when the plow comes crashing through the house, there's like a million directions they could run, but he just stands there going, "The gremlins, they got my plow," and she just stands there next to him going, "What are we gonna do?" Like looking to him.
Oh my God.
oh
This
yeah,
poor-
don't they just like watch themselves get run over?
Yes,
by
they
it?
they,
Yeah,
they
okay.
spectate as they're being run over.
This poor woman and her miserable husband.
I love that he's watching like a thing on TV that shows that Santa like having a mishap on a roof, and
Yeah.
then like later on her story is about that.
We could do top 4 Judge Reinhold if you want, or we could save it.
Okay, what is your guys' experience? Because when we were watching this, like I said, right before Christmas, like the people in the room did not know Judge Reinhold. Like they didn't know of him or his name. And I
Yeah.
was always like,
I was upset about
my mom always
They
had a
didn't
crush
know
on
Your
him.
Honor,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
judge
yeah.
himself.
And I knew him from Seinfeld from a young
What's this?
age.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
he's a
he's
song-
the cleaner. He's the cleaning guy in Seinfeld, right?
No, he's the close talker. He dates.
Oh, he's the close
Yeah.
talker.
dates Elaine.
I
I thought he was the
forgot
guy
he's
who
the
cleaned
close talker.
cleaned his house and like cleaned it too good or whatever.
What's the song from Arrested Development?
He's a close talker. Yeah.
It's like da, 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 with Judge Reinhold. Da, da, da.
I don't know.
Something court with Judge Reinhold because they have this court show that he's on, even though he's not a real judge, because his name is Judge Reinhold.
Is that his real name?
that would totally be
Yeah.
be a thing. Yeah.
All right, should we do a Judge Reinhold top?
Yeah, I
four?
want to. I already looked.
Oh,
it up.
Colin.
All right, Tim, go.
The one with Fred Savage, vice versa.
Very good guess.
Incorrect.
What? That's insane.
That's a great guess.
It's very wrong. Very wrong. IMDb's getting it wrong
Really
again.
swinging for the fences on the first one there.
That would have been my first, well, maybe my second guess. But
Dude, the over-the-shoulder shot of the gremlin driving the Kentucky Harvester bulldozer is so dope.
Is that a real brand or they make?
I
that
think,
dude,
I think so.
Mr.
Yeah.
Futterman has a Richard Nixon poster. I just saw it.
Of course he does.
Beverly Hills Cop.
They have a lot of Santas in here. Beverly Hills Cop is correct.
You know it.
That is correct.
I'll say Fast Times at Ridgemont.
Correct.
Good guess.
That is
Seinfeld.
correct.
Incorrect.
Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Beverly Hills Cop 2 is correct.
You know it.
That is
This fourth
correct.
one is this fourth one has not been mentioned yet.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Is this priest wearing a wig? I can't think like this is another. I'm sorry, Mr. Reinhold, if you're listening, but I can't think of another movie you're in.
In this movie, he plays like the stepdad character.
Oh, yeah, the Santa Claus. Of
The
course.
Santa Claus
yeah.
is
nice
correct.
job.
Once you said
Good
that
call.
That is
because the internet
correct.
was like obsessed with his sweater.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
This guy is Harry Carey Jr., not the baseball commentator, son, but the not that one. The other Harry Carey, the cowboy actor.
You are a hot dog. You were hungry. Would you eat yourself?
Look at this guy rewiring
I know
traffic
I would.
lights. Also, another thing where they save a couple money, they save themselves a couple bucks by just doing the crash off screen, screeching tires, horn honks, crash. We don't ever have to see the car accident. It sounds fucking massive.
Yeah, the movie plays a lot with suggestion. Nice.
Yeah, Yeah. Well, Gremlins, like their original origin is from World War II. Anytime there was like a malfunction in an airplane or something, they would say it was a gremlin.
In there, yeah.
Which I don't know where that came from or whatever, but
The maintenance guys were like, yeah, we didn't forget to clean it.
Yeah.
Fucking Gremlins, man.
Yeah. Because they kind of, again, with the Twilight Zone movie, with the thing on the wing episode, that's supposed to be a
It's also
gremlin.
a gremlin, yeah.
Yeah. It would have been cool if it was a gremlin from this movie. Because they were made so close together, they could have possibly
They're a little
done it.
similar.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Close together though, isn't that Twilight Zone was like from the 60s, right?
No, the Twilight Zone movie is from the 80s, and they redo the
I mean,
thing
they
on
did
the wing.
they did the episode earlier, but they definitely had a new creature for the movie.
Instead of William Shatner, it's John
But the
Lithgow.
movie shot first. I actually think if that's like a good hypothetical though, if they had done this and it was a huge hit, and then they had shot the Twilight Zone movie after,
it would have been a gremlin.
I bet they would have thrown a gremlin on there.
Well, in the
100%.
Simpsons one, which I saw far before I saw the Twilight Zone episode, it is more of a movie gremlin on the side of the bus.
It looks like almost a combination. That one looks like almost a combination between the Twilight Zone, the movie Gremlin, and these Gremlins.
Okay,
It's
I
like
never
a
saw the
little-
TZ
a little of
movie.
both.
So this Mrs. Deagle is like a direct correlation to It's a Wonderful Life, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Potter.
Mr. Potter.
Is that what she's watching when she's cutting onions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, I think it's interesting that at the end, when they're like the newscaster is recapping the casualties of this mass hysteria event, they mentioned that her husband was like a notorious stock swindler. That like they shouldn't even had all the money they had.
I remember as a kid watching her come down the stairs in this like this robotic chair and thinking like, oh my God, I want that in my house. That's so cool.
even at a young age,
Aspiring
Matt
for
was
a-
pretty lazy.
So lazy. It just looks like fun. As a kid? Yeah.
One flight of stairs.
I just wanted to like push buttons and ride things that moved slowly.
It moved so slowly. I could see like when it goes up the stairs, it is moving really fast. That looks
Well, you ever go to like a carnival or something, and you realize the kids' rides are just like a thing that goes in a slow circle that they're sitting in.
Here's another thing: they multiply when they touch water, but apparently not when it's snow.
Right, exactly.
No, yeah, water is different than snow, as is different than Coca-Cola, as is different than.
She should have splashed the water on them just then, and then they'd start like convulsing and have
yeah.
more of them, then they all attack her.
Yeah.
What are they?
So Mrs. Deagle's like a real estate baron, land baron in
she
the
like
Kingston
owns the
Falls.
town. Yeah.
A rich Karen.
And her
She is.
What
her
was that
house
part
looks
of-
like shit, man.
Yeah,
like
it
even
does.
that cat tree is all
I mean-
crooked.
But she's got no friends. She's a shut-in.
Yeah, but she got wealth.
Yeah.
She probably has hired help.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. You think she trusts hired help walking around touching her stuff?
Maybe
But
not.
she got to
Yeah,
watch.
you're right.
What's the deal with her and that one woman in the beginning? The woman's like, I can't eat, and she's like, good.
Yeah. Anyway, she gets thrown to her death through a window.
It's an incredible effect.
Very
Her
satisfying.
fucking brittle spine explodes.
that's pretty.
I love these cops and how bad they are at their jobs. Where like they see a man being attacked by gremlins in a Santa suit. They know that they've been warned that all hell's breaking loose and whatever.
They're openly drunk in the first moment we see them.
You said Jonathan Banks was not a villain in this, but he's just an incompetent police officer
Yes.
and a coward.
He's villainous through like his cowardice.
He shirks his duty
Like they
as a
literally,
protector.
they have guns. They could like shoot the gremlins off this guy, or at least put the man out of his misery. And instead, they just sit there staring at him as he begs for help. And then they just drive. They roll up the window and drive off.
Yeah. They're not good cops.
This
Yeah,
is
they're
classic
definitely
fucking
not good
Kingston
cops.
Falls. Oh, they're
That's just fucking Kingston Falls, man. You never want to get pulled over in Kingston Falls. That's a fact. And then they almost kill somebody because their brakes are out and they're. I mean, they don't even clear off the back window. They should get a ticket for that. They haven't de-iced their car properly.
It's just chaos at this point. Like
they're the
whole
only
town.
game in town, baby. Yeah, once the Gremlins start cooking, the movie's really well paced. I love how you get the chaos and then the movie theater and then like the one-on-one.
Yeah.
Sort of like the way it progresses to that.
The mano y mano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it's very cool and like The
We haven't got the Phoebe Cates monologue yet, though, right?
No, that's really it slows it down a bit, but
No, that's
Does
a
it?
welcome break. That's an important element.
it is important. I'm glad.
Is that the last we see of Pete, whatever the Corey Feldman
Yeah, I think
character's
so.
name is?
That's the last
So,
we see
like, yeah, it seems like they're building him up. They have all these scenes with him. And we also don't see Judge Reinhold and what happens to him, do we?
No.
I feel like there's
he famously had like a huge plot line that got cut out.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like there's like a lot of outcomes for these characters that sort of built up early. And credit to them, I don't think this movie needs to have all those plot lines tied up. But I do feel like they build up Pete and Judge Reinhold's character into something, and then they never really pay them off.
Yeah, just cut to them.
And we
like,
kinda
getting
forget about
killed by gremlins. Or
I'd give me another 5 minutes with a Reinhold death.
Yeah.
Is it true, Harris, that
Watching his cable.
that back in the 80s you used to go around to movie theaters all day long, and every time Judge Reinhold appeared on the screen, you shouted out, "All rise!"
I was too young, but I wish.
Yeah. Would have been nice.
It's like a whole day of that.
Just chase him down in the street and be like, "You got to settle this dispute between my girlfriend and I. Who gets to keep the furniture?"
That's so funny.
Is it, though?
It's kind of funny.
the whole time I'm watching this movie, I was thinking to myself, like, this is fucking great. And it's like, this more than anything screams like, this needs to be remade today, you know? And I'm really honestly shocked that it hasn't been remade. Like, we haven't seen a Gremlins movie since 1991 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially, I mean, I don't want this, but especially with CGI, they could do it easily and cheaply, you know? I'm just really kind of shocked at Hollywood that they haven't raped this franchise for all its worth.
It is a little surprising.
It's so marketable, too. Like, when these movies came out, there were, like, little Gremlins dolls and Mogwai
I was
dolls.
looking on eBay today just out of curiosity. Like, there's a ton of stuff out there.
Yeah.
Lunch boxes and I saw a girl in the airport with a little girl with a Gizmo fucking backpack.
Yeah, we definitely had the Gizmo doll.
There's
I
the
think
barflies.
we had two different Gizmo dolls. We had a Gizmo doll, a regular Gizmo doll, and then a Gizmo doll with a Santa hat sewn to his head. And then we definitely had a striped doll too, which were very popular.
Some of the ones I saw on eBay, like I was like, did they make these before the model was perfected in the movie? Because
Probably,
their
'cause
faces
back
are
then-
jacked.
Yeah. Back then, they couldn't. You know, they just had to, like, kind of take a guess. Or they probably went with, like, early concept sketches or something. you
As
know?
far as things we have in common with Gremlins, I too enjoy Coors Banquet,
Yeah.
which seems to be what they're drinking.
I, too, enjoy flashing people.
Hey man, let's I go to the dive bar with my wooden mallet and throw shit all over the pool table.
It'd be funny if they just cut to one urinating in a refrigerator.
They're just like me.
They really.
Why is that one cross-dressing?
How do you know it's cross-dressing, Colin?
They go further into
there
that
could
in
be
the second
Oh,
lady
here we go,
gremlins.
calling in the fucking genitals again.
Do they have them, though? I don't think they do.
So they're genderless. They can
Okay,
do whatever
good. Yeah,
they want.
They can do whatever they want.
Colin, why are you such a turf, Colin?
Oh my god.
Aren't you and J.K. Rowling?
J.
make
Colin
up a
Rowling.
list- yeah, make up a list of complaints about gremlins and how there's only one gender of gremlin and it's neutral. You gremlins have only one gender. Everyone knows this.
Oh, I love this one.
Oh, what is this one like?
The, like, film
Sinatra
noir.
or something?
Yeah, yeah. And then the guy with the puppets shows up and starts bothering him.
So Phoebe Cates was just like stuck at work, and all of a sudden like 50 gremlins showed up.
Like, I would love to see the scene when the first one walks in and she's like, "Oh, good evening, sir. What can I get you?"
Yeah. She was like about to close. She's trying to hide her disappointment that she was like 5 minutes away from closing. And then, oh, sure, now the rush comes.
They had to
And
have
they're-
just storm the gate.
They're
Like,
not even going to tip. You know,
Oh, the Flash
you know
Dance
these guys
one.
aren't
I
going
forgot
to
about
tip.
the Flash Dance one.
Oh my god.
Yep.
And the music kicks
Now
in.
this is obviously a male gremlin, but definitely wearing the Jane.
Oh, the
Fonda.
nose picking one, gross.
Ew, yeah, that was. Man,
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want. They're having a great time.
They are having a great
This
time.
is the thing about
fun-loving
gremlins.
bunch.
This scene is like, we're Gremlins 2, like, we're going to do this, but times a million.
Right. You thought that was wild. Hold my beer.
I can't
Gremlins.
wait till we
Yeah.
get to the second one and we can talk
Yeah.
about like what the takeaway was
Yes.
for Joe Dante.
Other than it's like brilliance.
Yeah.
I
I
love
can't
that.
believe she's still working. Why didn't she run away?
Ha, dude.
Well, she sees her opportunity. She's waiting for her moment.
She's like, I bet these guys tip well.
I'm telling you, her service is keep prolonging her life.
Yeah.
As soon as she's like, the keg is tapped, they're going for her blood,
Yeah, that's true.
you know? But she's smart. She's a resourceful character.
Yeah, she-
as soon as she realizes the matches kills them,
This doesn't make sense.
She
Though. Those flashes, they don't. They burn out after like 2 or 3 or something.
ladies and
Oh, yeah,
gentlemen,
you have to-
Colin
you have to let
also
them
has a lot of
charge.
fucking Polaroid cameras in the house, so he would know.
Yeah, she's got a 6 flash.
Okay,
column
yeah,
on
I guess
there.
so. Like, yeah, but that was her last one. She's done.
And when I was younger, this gremlin that stops her with the gun was always very scary. Because it's like, okay, the other ones, maybe you could like fight them to a draw or
But
get
this
away.
one's got a
But this
gun.
one literally just has a gun.
Also, he's got a mask, so you can't even identify him.
Yeah.
later. You know,
It's
there's no way
true.
you're picking him out of a
You
lineup.
might have like an identifying
away with it.
haircut.
I love how she just whacks him later. Watch this. Or,
Oh,
as,
man.
as she's running out the door, she turns and whacks one right here.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Phoebe Cates is really good in this movie. Because like, I'm sorry, like, I mean, like none of us are women here, but like, imagine reading the script and they're telling
Again,
you.
Colin, with the whole gender.
I don't have genitals. so-
Yeah, on the spectrum where like some of us
Whatever.
are kind of women.
Yeah. Let's move on. Imagine reading this script and being like, your character does and says these things. Your character loves this town, loves working at the bar, will do it for free, and hates Christmas. And the reason that you hate Christmas is because
Loves the environment, is big on petitions.
yeah,
Look
There's
at
a
that
lot of-
town.
there's a lot
Look
of
at
ways
all those small businesses. This place is boarded up now.
Yep.
This is Heroin Central, Kingston Falls.
This is-
Do not go there after dark in
This is
2023.
why you
Oh, of
have to
course
move
not.
to the big city to start your life anew, because nothing's gonna happen here.
You think that Burger King is like the entire block is Burger King's now?
oh yeah.
It's Burger King town.
Should we go to the Burger King on the northwest corner or the southeast
You
corner?
got Burger King, Wendy's, Arby's, all that shit. The whole fucking.
They call it Burger Kingston Falls now.
Gremlins.
Burger Kingston Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a Whopper.
So now we're just watching the movie.
This is when she says
Well,
it.
we're
right?
watching the speech,
Yeah.
and frankly, I'd appreciate it if we were all silent and just heard and just
Or
God,
can
it
you
was
just
so
read?
horrible. Soaked it all
Someone
in.
needs
Let
to
me read
read it.
yeah. Colin, please.
It was Christmas Eve.
No, don't. You're gonna do the whole thing.
I was 9 years old.
Can we all read it at the same time?
Yeah.
Me and Mom were decorating the tree, waiting for Dad to come home from work.
A
couple hours went by.
Dad wasn't home.
Mom called the office. No answer.
Christmas
Day came and went, and still nothing. So the police began a search.
I feel like I'm in church.
4 or 5 days went by. Neither one of us could eat or sleep. Everything was falling apart.
Gizmo's listening to.
It was snowing
Snowing
outside.
outside. The house was freezing. So I went to try to light up the fire. How old was she as she's
So
lighting the fire?
fucked up.
And that's when I noticed the smell.
There was piss in the refrigerator.
The fireman came, broke through the chimney top. And me and Mom were expecting them to pull out a dead cat or bird. And instead they pulled out my father.
Oh,
Gizmo's reaction.
Gizmo understands.
Gizmo sells it. Was
He
dressed in a
understands
Santa
the
Claus
entire
suit.
story.
Yeah. He knows right now. He's like, I know what happened.
He even knew the dawning horror as it was going.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
like, I see what's.
Yeah, he was way ahead of it.
He's like, lady, you're dead.
But this is the best part. This is the best part. She tells the whole story. He slipped and broke his neck, died instantly. But the best part is a little coda at the end. And that's how I found out that there was no Santa Claus. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, like no American chimney can fit a man to go down it. Like that's
No, he was gonna do it. He just slipped and broke his
Yeah,
neck.
if he hadn't broken his neck, he would have pulled it off.
She would be talking like, "Oh my God, I was 9 and my daddy came down the chimney."
No,
It
she would
was
be
so
talking
good."
about like when I was 9, we actually saw Santa.
Oh, yeah.
The real Santa.
Oh, he was like pulling the
Oh
ruse.
yeah.
He was
So like at inner 20s, she
In
still
her 20s, she's
believes
still
because
like-
of that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. I saw him. I met him once.
So-
He came into our house through
Are
the
you,
chimney.
are you implying that he was going to give the presents and then scale back up through the chimney?
It's possible.
Maybe he was
I
stuffing
don't-
like spelunking equipment in his coat. Or
Hey,
something.
listen.
Maybe he has a military background and he can do
I
things
don't know
like
what
that.
this man's plan was, and clearly he wasn't great at planning.
Yeah.
But you know,
I think he spent a little too much time at Dory's Tavern before he tried the fucking chimney
Is
gag.
this the same set from Back to the Future? It is,
Yes.
right?
Oh yeah,
It
that's
is,
the
yeah.
street where
The car like goes down right
yeah,
and
picture
crashes
it
into the
without
movie
the
theater.
snow.
Apparently, it's Gilmore Girls too. If you go on the
yeah.
Warner Brothers tour, you could just like,
Yeah,
this is Gremlins.
This is everywhere.
yeah, yeah, it's very recognizable. But,
yeah, this is the part.
they give it a lot of personality, at least for Gremlins.
Yeah. Anyways, great call by Joe Dante insisting that they not take that speech out. I can't imagine what an executive was thinking. That watched this movie, saw all this other shit going on, and was like, you know what doesn't work? The Santa Claus speech.
But ultimately, what is the reason for that speech? What does it bring to her character that like makes like is it some
It's hilarious and creepy and weird.
She's the only character. Like the guy is just witnessing all of
Yeah.
this stuff.
She's like, she said another reason to hate Christmas. This is her second nightmarishly horrible Christmas in her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just appreciate. I don't have to analyze it. I appreciate how fucking weird it is.
Yes, it's you know what else it is? It's a nice breather from what's kind of a frenetic second half of this movie where it's just action, action, action. We all know that you do need a little bit of something to break it up. You can't just have the fucking Matrix 2 highway chase for like 40 minutes without having an occasional like sigh.
Yeah, and
quiet moment.
Billy's not going to hold a monologue.
No.
Like
No,
what's he going to tell?
absolutely not.
My dad has been ruining us financially.
so much goo
My mom's
squirting on me all
my
the
mom's
time?
dealing with a lot of depression. I am apparently the only one who's keeping this family alive with my shitty bank job that I'm constantly in danger of being
We're going to be
fired
on the
from.
street begging Miss Deagle to extend our mortgage. Or whatever.
Yeah.
She'll just still be threatening to kill the dog.
Yeah. She said she'd give me $100 if I killed my dog in front of her.
She wants to see me eat it.
Yeah.
So it's also it's a nice quiet moment before the movie theater. But like
I love that gremlin.
we get
right
to this
there.
huge climax.
Hi-ho.
Not only are they watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but like they're
the
playing
dwarf
songs from it. Yeah, and like we're seeing a lot of it. This would never fly today.
They're
But
chilling.
like, you got to have the parallel between like what is a gremlin and what is a dwarf. You know, like
trying to-
they admire dwarves on some level.
I'm trying to think though. I feel like
They
this
identify
was like the height of Don Bluth's cartoon company being competitive. Disney hadn't released an original movie because they didn't do Little Mermaid yet. So this is
Disney almost died out in the 80s.
this was like Disney so hard up for cash that they probably were like, yeah, license Snow White, sure, why the fuck not?
You know what saved Disney, right? What movie? It was The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That
Yeah.
was their first time they'd made like a real Disney style animated feature in years.
Well, they had a movie like the year before Little Mermaid called Oliver and Company, and that was a bomb. And I
Right.
think they released things in the 80s. They did like The Rescuers Down Under.
yeah.
A couple other ones, but
What's the Five Goes West thing?
that's Don Bluth.
That's some,
Yeah.
He's the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to picture Disney now, which is one of like the biggest entertainment companies in the world, struggling.
Yeah.
But at this stage, the idea of licensing Snow White to a different movie, it was not unthinkable.
Well, and then like a couple years after this movie, they had Roger Rabbit came out, and that movie came out like the year before The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Or something, 2 years before, something like that. And it's got Looney Tunes characters. It's got Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
It's got like all these mixed Warner Brothers and Disney characters.
Yep.
That would again like never.
Needed the paycheck.
Happen.
I wanna
now
shout
Mickey
out
Mouse
the,
is in the public domain again this year, so
Oh really?
yeah, but only like the Steamboat Willie version of him.
I want to shout out the gremlin in the movie theater who turned the popcorn bucket into like a helmet.
Yeah,
If you're
that's nice.
listening, that was
If
fucking,
you're listening,
a fucking dope move.
Inspired, truly brilliant.
I just picture him on
If
his
you
like daily
survive-
commute, listening to this podcast in his gremlin car, which is a gremlin.
I like how Billy, who seemed completely incompetent and dumb this entire movie, is suddenly like, oh, you know what? If I have a gas leak down in the boiler room I could blow up the whole theater with all the gremlins in it.
He very quickly knew how to blow up a building.
I couldn't have. I wouldn't have come up with any of this.
Listen, Phoebe, I love this town, but I've always thought about blowing it up.
I have a plan to blow up every single building in the town in case you're interested.
I have a stack of files in my room.
Yeah.
A fucking blueprints and floor plans.
Just in case my mom actually ever does slit her wrists.
Yeah,
This whole place is going up.
One of my favorite shots is coming up.
With them tearing through the screen.
I love that it's animated. It's
Yeah.
like such a good, and then it cuts to this. But no, it's like when they're down, I think it's this alleyway in the boiler room or whatever, where it just cuts to this right here.
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
bunch of gremlins
So
just like
dope.
running and like, I don't know how they do it. It's kind of cool. This right here, it's just chaos.
It's a bunch of guys on a dolly just
Going like this.
bouncing
That's
gremlins
totally
in the
what it
air.
is.
It
yeah.
looks great. Like they have personality. They have like
Yeah.
a menacing chaos.
Like, how do
It's-
they do that?
It's
with
just
the
like a
hands?
wave.
Yeah. A lot of puppeteers back there.
I mean, this is like the pinnacle of this sort of practical puppetry, like, or there, it's kind of this. I'm surprised that this movie came out as early as it did. This
What year
feels-
was Labyrinth? Is it after or before?
I think that's like 86 or 7 or 5, something like that. But like right up to Jurassic Park, the animatronics in Jurassic Park are incredible, obviously. But then kind of after that, CGI sort of started taking over, and that was the end of stuff like this.
Yeah, I get very hyped nowadays if a movie uses like a good practical monster or effect or something like that.
Do you know what the biggest dick tease of all time was? Do you guys remember when the Thing remake came out?
Yeah.
And they just touted it for like as they were making it, like it's all practical effects. It's going to be
And
incredible.
then they sucked it. They were bitched out.
They actually, from what I understand, they shot the movie with practical effects, but the studio made them change it in the last second, and they added CGI effects over the practicals.
Oh.
So it's like,
It wasn't good.
yeah, it was terrible.
I love how he bashes his window in with a fucking little
Oh yeah.
toy
That-
popcorn.
What kind
thing.
of glass?
There's no way that glass would break.
Fantastic.
The toy would snap in half.
I
So,
love
like-
it. I love it.
Here's my question. Like, I mean, I
This is a just preface. This is about genitals.
Yeah.
About
Google it.
genitals. like each of us has a different answer, but like how rich do you get before you start buying animatronics in your home? You know, like
Chuck E. Cheese, like a Chuck E. Cheese robot from a defunct restaurant.
yes. You're saying your question is if we were rich, would we buy?
yeah,
these
like
things?
how rich?
I mean, I guess it depends on what your priorities are, Colin, but I feel like you probably might be able to afford a defunct Chuck E. Cheese robot. Like
Get
how
a
many-
fucking new credit card.
That's a couple of, that's a couple grand, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
I
let's
feel
talk
like-
about the upper echelon of animatronics here. Like, what is the peak thing that you would like have in your house?
He
to, like,
wants the
show off
Rocky
to people?
IV robot to serve him
Yeah,
drinks.
no, yeah, I was going to say Paulie's sex robot was the first thing I thought of, and I feel like that is what Colin is
Oh, a number
hinting
5?
at.
That'd be great.
I think a Chucky doll would be
Chucky
good.
doll. What else?
Like,
Like, we could have a couple gremlins.
Couple gremlins for sure. Like decorate around your living room.
Well, I would just have one in one of the cabinets because you'd have plenty of cabinet space if you were rich enough, and just have one that just pops out.
The
like
gremlins work
medical
because
cabinet.
when Christmas comes around, you just put little Christmas hats on them, and
Of course.
it works.
Yeah,
You can do that with any animatronic, even if it's like a velociraptor.
No.
No, are you saying there's no
A
velociraptors in Christmas?
A Christmas hat can't fit on a velociraptor's
can't, you
head.
just can't do it.
It's too like
I
flat.
think you can put a.
this is
Christmas
a Christmas
hat.
movie. These are Christmas creatures. I think it doesn't make sense.
I
for
tried
some
to
other
buy the
things.
drummer from the Chuck E. Cheese, and they said,
This
"Buddy, you better not ever put a fucking Santa hat on this thing."
I love that the gremlin puts itself on multiple TVs, much like the villain in Speed 2 that we just watched.
Where do they stand on reindeer ears, like foam reindeer ears?
Yeah.
Is it just Santa?
I didn't
hats?
ask because my mind just goes to Santa.
Like they
hats.
do have like an 8-page writer anytime you buy one of those things. It's like here are the things you can and can't do with this.
cause evil sentience.
Yeah.
if you put these certain headgear. on.
Oddly enough, you're not allowed to fuck the Chuck E. Cheese drummer, but the bass player totally okay.
I believe my girlfriend went crazy for that Barbie product placement.
Oh yeah.
When we watched this movie, they had
Midnight.
Midnight
Barbie.
Cowboy Barbie, I believe it is.
Midnight
Cowboy.
Barbie.
Isn't it cowgirl? Barbie?
Yeah, sorry, cowgirl.
Is it the John Voight or the Dustin Hoffman?
She was wearing.
I
It's
love
like
the blatant Amblin.
It's like a Tanya Tucker
ET.
Barbie.
Is it E.T.
Yeah,
there?
they jam an ET in there. Also, do you guys remember there was a Gremlins video game where you drove around as what's his name, Gizmo, in a little pink Barbie Corvette?
Oh, I think I have a vague memory of that. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to my buddy owns a vintage store in Connecticut, Retro Junk, and he's got a poster of Gizmo in the Corvette. You know,
hell
like
yeah.
it's so aged from the 80s, still has like the folds in it and shit.
Look at these doll mannequins. They're fucking scary.
So Stripe is like Stripe was not to be fucked with. Like even as a kid,
yeah.
I'm like, this gremlin is scary as shit, dude.
Yep.
He's throwing saw blades
Yeah.
like Nolan Ryan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he.
In his saw blade throwing
he hops on
spades.
his tricycle.
You're telling me they didn't think of the movie Saw? Like he throws a
Yeah.
saw blade and then he's on a jigsaw tricycle the next shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie. They stole everything.
That basically
I love
is the
that
movie
move
Saw.
right there.
Smoking a joint, watching Gremlins,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you got a new franchise.
Gizmo's army crawling.
Like
Yeah, I like
speed army crawling.
You know, I one of the things I like about this movie is that they did kind of they knew what side their bread was buttered on. You know, like Spielberg recognized that the Gizmos were going to sell a fucking bunch of dolls, and that he had to be a good guy because originally they had the original script was that Gizmo turns into Stripe and wreaks havoc and becomes the bad guy, and Spielberg was like, no, we need to sell fucking cute Mogwai dolls.
I mean, though, to the credit of the original idea, that would be fucking cool and cathartic and
Sure.
like, you know, then that you kill the last one and all the gremlins are dead. That's you save the movie, you know.
Sure.
In this, like he survives and
you sell 1 billion fucking plush dolls.
it leaves it open for a second one, of
Yeah.
course.
But you can't make him. If you make him cute at the beginning, I don't want to see him get killed, even if he turns into a
Right,
homicidal
right.
monster.
You're like, what you did wrong by feeding him after midnight. You should have been nicer to him. And
Did,
taken better care
did
of him.
anyone have Teddy Ruxpin as a kid?
Oh, of course.
I
yes.
did, yeah.
He's pretty scary, isn't he?
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. I mean, I didn't. My brothers did though, and he was terrifying. But yeah, I like that they realized at some point.
that thing have a dick.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. I was in my head. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna say something about his dick.
Well, Colin, you are the animatronic dick police.
He's got nothing down there,
Yeah.
but his chest has a cassette tape recorder, so that
Yeah.
could be considered something.
It's vaginal in nature.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, did you ever try to stick your dick in his chest?
Not to my knowledge.
So never fucked Teddy Ruxpin. Is that safe to say, or did we do some face fucking? Because he does have a mouth.
I don't know.
So, does move his mouth. It's articulated. This is
so
why do you keep on
disgusting.
introducing that as your Teddy Ruxpin sex puppet?
I don't want to. No.
But they are smart in the end, where they have like Billy kind of save the day, but then they're like, yeah, but in the end, Gizmo should actually fucking save the day.
Yeah.
And they make him into like an action hero. They call back a lot of TV shows he was watching. He knows how to drive a car. He knows
And
how
then
to do all this shit.
you know Phoebe Cates, she flicks the light on. Everyone's
Yeah,
got a hand in
it's a
defeating.
team effort.
It takes a team to defeat Stripe. He's so
He is a
malevolent.
badass.
He's malevolently smart, and he knows how to use these fucking tools of destruction.
Yeah. And
Are
he
they-
recognizes that there's a fountain which he needs water, and somehow Billy's walking around hearing this burbling fountain and doesn't make that connection until like much later.
Well, we've already established Billy's pretty fucking dumb.
Yeah.
He is dumb.
Are the Gremlins? They're like, you know how they like mess with electricity and stuff. They're like immune to electric shock, right? Like you can't just like hit them with like a.
Oh, have
a
you
high
seen
voltage.
Gremlins 2? That's how
Oh,
they
yeah.
die.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Kill them all. Okay, Barney the dog, shout out. If you're listening, you're a good dog. Also,
Yep. Glad they didn't kill you off like the original script said.
oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad. This original script, that would have turned me against the movie.
They
Like,
did a good job of getting him out of town, though. They're like, okay, you go with Dad.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
of Mrs. Deagle.
Barney's a good dog. I love, this scene right here where
Yep.
he sort of plays traffic with Barney the dog while he's driving the pink Corvette.
Yep.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
And you know what's the best part about this fucking pink Corvette sequence is they for once didn't have to do anything. They just got a radio controlled fucking Corvette.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, thank God, just put the fucking doll in the Corvette and let's cut some days out of our fucking shooting schedule.
It's incredible.
Watching this recently, I remembered this whole sequence as a kid, but forgot how long it was and drawn out.
He's touching the water already.
Yeah, he's toying with him. He's like, look, I'm about to jump in.
And it's like, I'm about to jump in as soon as I
First, I'm
shoot
going to kill
to
you
death.
with this gun that I just got somehow.
Gremlin's not great at aiming pistols. Is what we learned from.
It's a sporting goods store in the 80s, so of course they have fucking,
Yeah.
they got
Handguns,
They
yes.
are packing
They didn't show
steel.
him get it though, right? He just has it.
No, it was in a case.
Yeah, he just looked at the case
Yeah.
and got it, and he went for the headshot.
All you had to do was smash the case open and grab some guns and ammo.
Yeah, I mean, he
the
did.
effect. Oh yeah, here we go. He's starting to multiply. That he's coming right now.
Yeah, it does look like he's enjoying it.
Yeah, he's enjoying this. He's definitely
The
getting
stripe, like his back bubbling is incredible. I love dead stripe.
Oh, that is the good one.
When he pops out of the fountain and melts, it is such a
It's
cool
so
effect.
good.
Yeah.
When he's like half dead, and he's
When
got
he's
like the
half
white
dead, yeah.
eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, when he's half dead in the when he's standing there getting hit by the light and he's all like falling apart, that's awesome. And then when he jumps out and he collapses, and then the bubbles after when they're leaving, and there's like a puddle of stripe that's just like kind of festering and bubbling.
I like when Gizmo hits the ceiling
And then he just falls.
Yeah.
It's like definitely just a doll. They just like attached it. Yeah.
It's
I mean, this is fucking awesome. It's like
Oh,
ears
the
are getting
melting.
holes in them and stuff. Such a good effect.
that weird liquid coming out of his head is very Evil Dead.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's cool that Stripe is, taken down by his
His father. His
enemy
father,
Gizmo.
really.
Well, I guess it is his father. It's treated like a little
Yes.
brother, but yeah.
Yep.
And it's like when you get bigger and stronger than your dad, and you can beat him up.
Yeah, but if you try too early, your dad murders you,
Yep.
as it should be.
And Hoyt Axton comes back just at the end. He missed all the carnage at the smoozing at the Inventors Fair. He comes back right at the end as the last gremlin dies.
And just has kind of a dumb, confused look on his face. Like, what's going on? The town seems
Yeah, he
a
doesn't
little
seem
in disarray.
scared or concerned at all.
I figured it would happen.
He's
this
like,
way.
yeah, he's like, oh, is this because we didn't follow all those fucking rules? Oh, I knew it.
Did they get your mother? Because I need that insurance money.
She's alive, Dad.
Key Luke has such a big "I told you so" coming when he shows up again at the end.
Oh yeah, when he just like appears
Yeah,
in their house.
in their house,
Oh.
it doesn't knock.
And I was thinking, like, how does he know where they live? But he did give him his business card.
Also, he's a mystical Asian.
That
Yeah,
does
that's
look
true. Oh,
so
look at
cool.
that! Like, how did
That's
they
a
do
great. That's a great effect.
The way the skull is, the way it becomes so deflated when it looked so solid. at
Yeah,
the
like it must have been.
beginning,
They must have used like air bladders and stuff
Yeah.
because it's such a good. And this is great too, with the
Dog really looks
the
like
dog's
he's gonna eat
reaction
it.
to the
Yeah, okay.
bubbles on the floor.
It's great.
Yeah, really good.
I want to see the scene where the department store manager shows up for work and he's like, "What the hell?" And there's just like he slips on the goo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We switch you to the scene of the Christmas Eve riot.
they've ruined his business, but also like the entire town is.
They're done. Yeah.
Yeah. The town is over. This is like a love canal, like era, destruction of a town. Like chemical pollutants have nothing on Gremlin explosion.
It's why Billy moves to New York and starts drawing like fictional fantasy versions of his hometown
Mm-hmm.
for the Donald Trump fella.
Yeah.
This is another great sweater here. We see Phoebe Cates' sweater in the end. That's one of the top sweaters of the film, I believe.
There's a lot of good sweaters.
Yeah. This is a good sweater movie.
Why didn't he knock? This guy's just in the house. He's several steps inside.
The door's open.
He left the door.
Maybe he did
open.
quietly knock.
He makes me think of the bit on The Simpsons when Homer's buying the the monkey's paw or whatever, and he's like, the paw is cursed. And he's like, that's bad. And he's like, but it comes with a free yogurt. That's good.
It's like the same model. It's like a drawing of this guy, as far as I recall.
The toppings contain potassium benzoate. That's bad.
He's confused. He's like, that's bad. It's funny. This actor who you probably wouldn't recognize. He doesn't normally have like the long white hair everywhere. And he's like probably one of the most experienced actors in this movie. He was in like a billion things. Because he came over to America, I think it's like a production designer or something, and then immediately started getting cast in movies. He was like in the old Charlie Chan movies. He was like the son, and then he was the original Kato in the Green Hornet serials before the TV show where Bruce Lee played Kato. He played he played the sidekick in the serials, and then like was in everything, like was in TV shows and all sorts of stuff. Playing usually more modern characters than this. He didn't always play like the old crazy looking.
It's really hard from this. It's hard to tell what this guy actually looks like though. With the two
he's
different
got a lot of
eyes.
stuff going
That
on.
contact lens is doing a lot of the
Yeah.
work.
It's like a husky.
Yep.
So it does end on a little sad note. He takes the Mogwai, and Gizmo will be kept in a fucking cage until this man dies.
Yes, but Gizmo likes the cage. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think so.
I forget how he comes in to possess Gizmo again in the second one.
The guy comes back. This guy comes back.
Really?
He dies, and his store is destroyed by construction, and Gizmo's freed. Gets caught by a laboratory, which happens to be in Billy's building.
Oh, it's the two twin laboratory guys.
Tuco
right?
from Breaking Bad hears Gizmo whistling, and then Billy hears him whistling.
When's the last time you
Gizmo's,
watched Gremlins 2?
like
Holy
Just out of
shit.
3 months
curiosity.
ago.
Oh, okay. That's still impressive.
It's fresh, baby. I love that.
I caught a
movie.
little of it on TV recently, but it was like kind of the middle of the movie, so I missed the beginning. But that's great that you remember that. So
Anyway, yeah, I'm a Gremlins 2 head. I'm a Gremlins head in general. I love them both.
if you could make a new Gremlins today, how would you do it? Would it be a sequel or a total reboot in a new location? What are we thinking?
Do I have power to be like, we're not doing this unless it's practical effects?
Yes.
I think any competent director who is tasked with bringing the Gremlins back would have to demand that they bring back like animatronic technology.
No, I think for like wide shots and stuff.
Yes.
I think there's a place for some CGI.
and when they're
in
like
this.
running and
Yeah.
stuff, you know,
But I think it should be selective and
like the close up, all that action, like in the kitchen scene when she's annihilating
Right.
them, like that all has to be
that's
practical.
the best part. You need to do
That's
stuff
the
like that.
That's
Yeah.
the attractive part of it, you know. Like I don't want to go see a fully CGI Gremlins movie.
Yeah. So Tim, what's your pitch?
Oh, for Gremlins 3?
Yeah.
Well, and just thinking of in like cynical terms of like nowadays, it would be like Billy's kid, right? It'd
Do
be
you have a Zach Galligan cameo or
No, he'd be in it. It'd be him and Phoebe Cates, but their kids would be the star. You know,
Okay,
They'd take some
okay.
shit kid from
Would
like
you set it in a hometown again, like a little quaint town? Like
yeah,
this?
little
Kingston
town.
Falls?
You take a
Kingston
little
Falls 2, where they rebuilt after they.
some fucking shit West Hollywood kid who's in a Netflix show now, and he's like the kid,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a girlfriend who's like
It's like the kid from Stranger Things or something.
something like that. Yeah, whatever. And then and then the Gremlins come into their life, and Billy's like, I know about these things. I don't know. Yeah, there's something.
Sounds terrible.
Gizmo's unaged. Gizmo's just eternal.
I
Yeah,
guess
don't think
Gizmo would have to be.
ever does age.
Look at the voices. We got Frank Welker.
Howie
he's
Mandel does
Transformers.
all the Mogwais.
Okay, look, if Barney's
Michael
played by
Winslow.
Mushroom.
You know
oh,
who
yeah,
he is,
Michael
right?
Winslow
Yeah.
from Police Academy.
I love when dogs.
Wait, can you go back and freeze on the names?
I love when dogs are in credits and you see
Yeah.
like their real dog name.
Yeah, like Mushroom. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? You
Pause,
better
pause,
just
right
call
there.
him Bobby now. or
Barney's
Barney
played
now.
by Mushroom.
Howie Mandel. Someone named Bob Burger. Come on. Peter Cullen. He's a famous. Yeah.
I would like to just clarify. It's spelled Berger, not.
Yeah, it might be Berger.
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 Actually, my name is Bob Berger.
No, you know what?
It's actually pronounced Bob.
You know what? If I'm gonna pitch this to like your studio, if you're funding it, Billy, Gizmo has finally died.
No.
Billy's gone mad with grief because he had this creature for 40 years.
Yes.
He travels to like bizarre places in the Far East looking
Yes.
for a new.
Oh, new Mogwais.
Yeah.
Replacement Mogwai.
He
He's
find-
ready. He's ready to move on.
He finds a Mogwai, but like Gizmo is like the only good one. So he brings back like an evil
The
Mogwai.
most evil Mogwai.
Yeah, who like totally
Or
manipulates.
that would be cool just to see like where the Mogwai come from.
And
But
it
can a good one come from a bad one?
Oh, so maybe.
See, now that's a good idea. One of the clones, because this
it's
Mogwai
a
is
girl
fucking.
one. It's like a girl Gizmo, right?
They don't have anything down there.
Well, she has a little pink
He's
bow.
right.
Triggered
He's
Colin
right.
again. You
They would
triggered
make
him.
him a girl, and then yeah. So this one like manipulates him from the jump. Like, oh, I'm such a good Mogwai, but
Of
he's like
course.
totally fucking evil. So yeah.
It'd be ridiculous.
I like the
That'd be
jumping
real
off
good.
point of Gizmo's death, but I was thinking then Billy just starts dressing up as a gremlin. to reenact some of the havoc.
I'm down with that
It's just a
too.
movie
Hey,
about him being a furry.
It's going, yeah.
No.
He's an insane murderer.
yeah, dude, you don't have to twist my arm. He's wearing a gremlin mask. And
yeah, like full on bodysuit, but it's like built to be like a small gremlin, but he's a grown man, so it's like tight. It's like a t-shirt. It's
oh
like a
my
baby
god,
t-shirt.
he's cutting people's brake lines and shit.
The movie is like
He's trying to sneak around like he's tiny, but everyone can see him.
the movie's ultra modern in the sense that like gender politics play into it very heavily. Like he brings the Mogwai home and he's like, "Oh, he's really cute," and they're like, "It's they, Dad."
They them, Dad.
They them. Yeah.
That would be in the trailer.
Yeah, that would be a them joke.
Oh my god.
It's just all about gender politics.
The entire thing is just an exploration of do gremlins have gender.
Yeah, do they have genitals?
Dude, Colin could be the fucking genital consultant on set.
Instead of
I'll take the money for that.
instead of Judge Reinhold, he's the genital
He's already
judge.
spending an inordinate amount of time thinking about it. He's already done a lot of research.
Hold on. We gotta shoot this scene. Colin, does this gremlin have a dick or not?
Let me put my gloves on.
It's a puppet. Shut up. We gotta shave this one. I can't find it. There's only one way to tell. Oh my god. All right. Let's that's the end of the movie there.
Like over
Hey,
now.
you know we forgot. Hey, Colin, you want to do your summary of the plot?
We've forgotten it for the past few episodes.
Yeah,
I say we
I don't
retire
wanna
the
do it.
bit.
We remember it sometimes. It's important sometimes.
I'd rather do another top 4.
Yeah,
What do we have left that's not in the sequel? The sequel has so many more people we could do.
Yeah, this we could do top 4s up the ass for the sequel.
Did what's the main guy's name? Zach.
Galligan.
Is he in anything other than these two movies? Really?
Nope. I mean, he's an actor. He acts in things, but
Oh, so he is in
his
things.
top 4 is these 2 movies and some other shit that you never heard of because nobody's ever watched it.
Zach Galligan.
Let's do Zach Galligan's top 4. I'm just kidding. We're not doing Zach Galligan's top 4.
He looks like at this point, like as an older guy, he looks really unremarkable. Like he looks like just like a guy you would see just like
He looks just like a
somewhere.
guy. Colin, you're so hung up on gender.
I know.
Okay, I'll
Okay,
start.
his top 4 is Gremlins, Surviving with, I guess, is that Molly Ringwald?
He got a lot of work though.
Waxwork
Yeah,
in
he made a career out of
1988.
it.
What's Waxwork?
That's a horror movie about like little dolls, I think.
And
And he was in the sequels to that, I think. Too.
I-
got a
he
little-
directed a 2019 movie called Madness in the Method.
I've sampled from the Waxwork soundtrack. It's a banger.
Is it like all synth?
No, not really, but it's good for a horror movie that no one's heard of soundtrack.
Oh, he's in a movie. Okay, this movie called Surviving. It has Molly Ringwald and River Phoenix, which is
Sounds like a Brat Pack movie.
And we've
that-
never heard of it, which means that it must be terrible.
Yeah.
You want to hear the synopsis?
Yes.
What about G-Men
That's a
from
no
Hell?
and a yes.
An FBI agent sneaks out of Satan's dominion for a shot at gaining entrance to heaven. Free on Tubi. Fire it up right now.
Wait. So did he get hired by the FBI before going to hell, or like?
Colin, we don't have to ask questions.
Is
we
it
can put
Hell's
on
version of the
television.
FBI?
Yeah. Is it Hell FBI, or was he in the FBI then he went to hell? And then, like, if you were in the FBI,
FBI
and you
has-
go to hell, are you still in the FBI? Like, do you have to? Are you
Yeah,
still
dude.
committed
Satan
to
has
law-
his own
I think
FBI.
you lose some of your authority, though.
All right.
You're out there making sure people aren't like.
We never see this box with holes in it that becomes the icon of the Gremlins franchise.
It's true.
Of
The box in the movie is way cooler.
Yeah, the box in the movie is.
Are we
cooler.
still on the air?
We are. We need to give our ratings.
Yeah, we're doing
Do
our.
I still have to talk in the microphone?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, let's
All
summarize
right,
and do our
let's
ratings.
wrap it up. Okay. This was a very moving film in my childhood. It meant a lot to me. We watched it so
It
many
moved me
times. It-
to a bigger house.
I enjoyed the hell out of it. It is an excellent movie. I haven't seen it in many years, and it holds up amazingly. I will give this. I'm trying to think of what I find wrong with this movie. It's God. Is this a 10? I don't know. I can't think of any complaints I have. I think
Oh, but it doesn't really measure up to Crocodile Dundee Part 2.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a knock on
So
everything.
that's a 10. Everything else has to be.
Yeah, that's your standard column.
Godfather 2 is a 9.5.
You know, I
Crocky.
I will say it's not like I don't know that it's like my favorite genre, and it is, but it's so weird and fun. I don't know. What did I give? I gave Army of Darkness a 9, and I feel like this is on the same level as that of
You
enjoyment.
gave Speed a 6 and Army of Darkness a 9.
Yes, because Army of Darkness is a lot better than Speed. I don't know what the math adds up. I'm giving Gremlins a 9 Timothy Dolphins.
Wow.
9 Timothy Dolphins. It is almost a perfect movie. Yes, it's very good.
Good score. I'll go next. This is a good one. You're putting this on?
Do the podcast, Matt. Don't pay attention to me.
I think this movie's a bona fide classic, and watching it recently, like it still holds up incredibly well. The effects are great, and like obviously it spawned a whole generation of copycats and technology, animatronic technology in movies. But for the better, I think we're better for it. I love this movie, and I was surprised at how, like, I thought it was going to be cheesier or, like, more dated, and it really wasn't. I think it achieves what it sets out to do, and I think I'm right there with Harris. I think I give this banger a 9. Timothy Dolphins.
Woo. Okay, did everyone go? No, you didn't. Oh, right. Okay.
You idiot.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I like it when the puppets, like, wiggle, kind of.
That's your
Why is
takeaway?
it always about genitals with you?
Yeah, shake that ass. Oh,
I like it when
is
they
that
wiggle
Cujo?
Yeah, it looks like Cujo.
Excuse me.
By the way, we're watching.
You're
Steve-
supposed to pretend nothing is happening.
We're
over
watching
How
Stephen
can
King's
I win
Cat's
it?
Eye
There's
now, which, as Matt points
solid
out,
gold.
is awesome.
And
that
that's
Christine?
fucking
okay,
Christine. Yeah,
This is like a
I
Stephen
see
King
what's going
Easter
on.
egg, dude. I'm getting high off this shit.
Yeah.
I am
Christine, it
Christine on
says
the
in the
back
bumper
of it.
sticker. Hey, this is a
Forgot
little
about
bonus
that.
content. Maybe we
Wow.
should just do our bonus episode of this movie right now.
Fucking Cat's
I'm
Eye.
looking. What's next?
This movie rules. Have you not seen this one?
No.
Oh, it rules. Okay. Anyways,
It is good.
Okay.
Is
so you
this
give-
wait Cat's Eye? This is like a bunch of short
Yeah, it's
stories.
three
short
shorts.
stories.
Yeah.
So you give Gremlins a 10?
The James,
Yeah.
the James Woods one is my favorite one of the three.
talking about Gremlins at all. I give Gremlins a 9.
9.
Wow.
Wait, you like the one about quitting smoking? Is that the one?
Yeah, yeah. I like
That's
that.
my
They
least
made a
favorite.
movie.
Well,
That's
well,
a good
what was the
story.
one? No, there's the one where is this one where the guy that has to walk around the building?
They did that too.
That has to walk around the ledge of the building.
I never saw
Is
this.
that-
How did I never
think
see this movie?
Yeah, because the cat scares him. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Is
Oh.
that which one is the one that's the guy from Three's Company?
John Ritter?
Maybe that's the one.
Yeah,
where
I think that's
maybe
it.
it's the one
'Cause
where he has to
he's-
walk
he's
around the
in this.
building. Yeah,
I think I like the
I think that's my favorite.
the
Actually,
last one. Is,
Hold on. I give Gremlins a
I'm talking
9.
about Gremlins at all.
I give Gremlins a 9.
9's all around.
If there was give me like one more kill scene, Judge Reinhold watching cable and he gets decapitated or something like, then
that would've been a
then
10.
it's a hard 10. But
it
it holds up perfectly.
a stiff 10.
I think I probably do watch it every year. I'm not even exaggerating. I just love it. And like I said, my kids are going to be watching that as soon as they're old enough to fucking
I'm
for their
embarrassed I
eyes to
haven't-
see the TV screen.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed that I haven't seen it in so long. I feel like this should be like a regular watch.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised at how good it was.
Shout out to Stephen King's Cat's Eye, which we're watching now.
No, nothing's happening. Yeah.
I mean, how much beer do we have? I might be down just to hang out and watch Cat's Eye.
I mean, this is a rare Friday night recording.
Really
we've got
good
going
movie.
on.
So yeah, how do we end our recording? Are we just gonna
Dun,
keep?
dun, 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 dun. Now sing it like them.
Boom, boom,
And that's
boom,
how I
boom,
learned
boom,
that there's no
da,
such
da,
thing
da,
as Santa
da,
Claus.
da, da.
Well, here I got the old Gremlins theme here.
movie and it's Quitters Inc. and The Ledge and what else?
It has Drew Barrymore and the cat stealing her
Those are dope
breath, but it's
stories.
really a monster. and
Yeah,
the
there's a
cat fights the
troll.
monster.
There's
Yeah.
a troll that steals souls. And the cat is saving her, even though
That one's my
the
favorite
cat
one.
is sucking the life out of her.
Real quick, I want to thank our guest, Tim Kozlenko, for coming out and doing this once again. Tim, do you have anything going on that you want to plug?
I mean, if you guys are into vintage clothing, you can follow my Instagram, Time Killer Vintage.
hell yeah.
If you want to buy something. I'll take the money. I'll give you something good.
Nice. He'll take your money.
Sounds
You
like
heard
a
it here for your
proprietor of sorts.
I'll take your money.
Thanks for the new theme song. It's a banger. We all like that. And that's it. Thanks to Chris Morocco for doing this Gremlins remix that we're listening to right now. And we'll be back next time with Gremlins 2, The New Batch.
Yeah.
That'll be the second, the capper to the second of our three two-fer trios of movies that we're doing.
Keep an eye out for Stephen King's Cat's Eye on our Patreon coming soon.
Or what else did we say we were going to do? Oh, Drop Dead Fred.
Drop Dead Fred, yeah. Oh, my God.
One of those for sure. All right. Till next time.